of Big Fat Sea Cows.
A good retake from Auto Express gives a hefty penalty points to Big Fat Sea Cows, but they aren't out of the clear just yet. Big Fat Sea Cows hasn't entirely left their presence here in mid, still trying to take these picks, these trades, getting exactly whatever they can off of that. A 1-for-1 trade from both these two teams. Booyah getting, unfortunately, getting canceled out as Big Lex here goes in with the Wiper and the Hammer, gets one pick before turning, and in the midst of all that chaos, Big Fat Sea Cows retake control once again, and Auto Express are slowly getting staggered out here as Big Fat Sea Cows are setting up for their own lockout once again. Distraction, but no, to no avail. Big Fat Sea Cows does get that first checkpoint, unfortunately losing one of their own players here. Shinigami trying to make an initial play off of that before unfortunately going down to here. And now Big Fat Sea Cows with the Rainmaker popped and picked up and back in their own position. They're looking to try and go in and run for it. Take it over down to 27 points remaining, 20 points remaining in that single push. As fast as they can, 20 seconds remaining on this side of the game, and Big Fat Sea Cows are doing everything they can to try and stall them out so they can win and secure this game number 3. Tactical are online. This pressure is starting to stack for Auto Express. 10-second timer has been called. They need to make sure they have majority control mid here if they want to try and take this game into overtime. 2 down for Big Fat Sea Cows, meaning that they can have the opportunity to go, but no! An unfortunate wipe out the very end. Just shoots down their dream. Auto Express goes down 0-3. So I think it's exactly how Ensemble will be trying to use it here on this map specifically, as Ensemble gets his first zone on their side, is trying to extend the lead as best as they can. This map in general is known for a lot of lockouts, so whoever can get that first not lockout positioning is really going to can take away a lot of points here.
Time for a Rule of 4 squared to be taking the lead. They're going to be dunking the Rainmaker into that checkpoint as the rest of their teammates move forward, getting pick after pick, and it's 3 down on Clown Ensemble. Rice has taken the Rainmaker, and they're beginning to move forward behind that 10, and they're going for it, they're going for it, they're gonna dunk it! Yeah! That one nerd with that splat roller is doing the absolute damage here. Getting 3 picks in a short amount of time with the direct smacks from the roller is huge. And now Rice has control of a power clam. 3 down on Clown Ensemble. And now we're going to start building power clams like nobody's business. Throwing in one, throwing in the other. They're already down to 37 points, and the clams are going to be funneling in. It is the last minute of this match to go down on Rule of 4 squared, but the basket's already down to 28 points, and the clams keep...
Now if they want to try and stay alive in this game a little bit longer, the Inkling unfortunately does not get the zone. That is an unfortunate miss by Tidings, and Jelly Squid doing everything they can to stay alive a little bit longer. They just need to go through 3 more takes and they can take the game. The Tidings holding on for a little bit longer. They all out Bravo wipeout, and Tidings are still alive in the game.
Tidings, excellent job flipping that zone at the last possible second, giving Jelly Squids a 46-tick penalty in the last 30 seconds of this. Down on that moment, the crab is being popped right now as we are moving towards that 3rd checkpoint. Tidings has to have it in the bag, but Stamp is coming out, and unfortunately 3 down on Tidings, 2 down on Jelly Squids, and with the tower just slowly moving towards that 3rd checkpoint, less than 10 seconds remain on the clock. Tidings doing their best to get on there, but they need to have the rest of their team alive first.
Oh, it's gonna be a scramble, unfortunately. The little blaster. Oh my god, that's gonna sting for you.
There, but they are being pushed back by the chip damage bombs that everything on Jelly Squids has to offer. We see the crab now being popped on the spinner right where it should be. Jelly Squids is going to be going 2 down now. It's a wipeout. This is Tidings' chance to go in.
Yeah, disaster strikes for Jelly Squids, going down to a wipeout, and Tidings knowing the opportunity when they see it, and they absolutely go in running to get as many points as they can. But Mama with the Luna Blaster, unfortunately can't actually use their hammer at all, only getting a 1-for-1 trade as your consolation prize this year. But Yellow Jackets are holding the ground strong here as they're holding back at mid once again.
Absolutely. Dandelion does end up going 2 down in that moment. Yellow Jackets taking control of the zone once again. We are already down to the single digits. 3 minutes left in the match. Dandelion has to move now, but there's nobody left in mid for them to be able to do it. They're trying. They're trying, but they're 2 down, and their paint output is not enough for the rest of the team to follow up. And with that, Yellow Jackets is going to be taking that first game. My god, double 52s on Yellow Jackets here. We've got one of the normal 52 variety and the second 52 with that screen as well. Listen, these guys are going absolutely nuts, and Dandelion takes a wipeout in the first 30 seconds of the map. Serdakari jumping onto the checkpoint, just immediately being right there, and they're going. The stamp is going to be coming out hopefully soon to help and mitigate some of the damage that Dandelion is doing to them, but they still haven't been pushed forward enough to try and throw that clam in.
Yeah, Yellow Jackets are actually having a hard time keeping on Dandelion here, but as I say that, a wipeout on their side means that they can absolutely run away and get the power claps into the power clap basket, extend the lead even further. 30-point differential now sitting between these two teams here. Yellow Jackets unfortunately lose one player, but they do get a few extra points on their side. Dandelion trying to struggling to retake the clam basket and retake their zone here, but no, Yellow Jackets just letting this relentlessness not go so easily, keeping it just gunning in, but the clam after clam before finally losing one player, but it's not enough. Danny struggling here to finally be able to push them out of their own side of the map here and push them back to mid.
39, and there's that lead swap that Distinct probably wants to hear, and they're taking really good positions right now. This tri-stringer is up on the advantage on the high ground, really good spots for a stringer to be on. Afro does have that Zuka ready to rip, and they're in the 10s range. They should be entering knockout range soon if Tidal Disruption does not do anything.
Here comes another Zuka coming out from Tidal, trying to make some noise, but no picks on either side. 3, 2, 1, and Distinct with a powerful lockout online for Mahi Zones is going to take game 1. Now Frost
trying to break through, but Rossi moving in the lead has been swapped. Distinct are in the lead now with 1 minute 45 seconds left on the clock.
Some nice Rainmaker movement there, and they may not be done yet. Tiger does pop the bubble, but go down as the members of Tidal Disruption are probably looking to shunt this one off to the side. But Juno, look at this beautiful flank from the Knot, is going to pinch that Rain, giving Tidal Disruption another chance here again. Look at this, as things are still being traded up front. We're going to see a crucial. The Wiper will go down in the corner, and now the only two members of Yellow Jackets left are shoved over here by this crab. Kami will neutralize the zone with about 10 left, but the edit will go down elsewhere off your screen, and if Dandelion can just hold here, they may be able to get a win, as Rice is going to be rolling in with the roller, and oh my gosh, despite going 3 down at the end there, Dandelion is up 1-0 on Yellow Jackets after being swept by them in groups. They maybe have to get the edit down before they try another move like that, Frostix.
Well, definitely, especially when that Tetra has gone down with the slider here. You're losing perhaps a pivotal special for getting a push going. Dio does have an Ultra Stamp, though, and here it comes. What's going to happen? The throw will be able to neutralize Turnip. Dio was looking to get a move in, and there's the first score for Yellow Jackets.
I love that. Hey, you don't have to get the edit down if you get everybody except the edit down, and that is what they did, is they dumped a lot in, already down to 47. The Tetras are going to... Still has a shot here as we're about to hit overtime.
That being said, though, Kami has the Reef Slider ready to go. That, of course, commands a lot of presence here, but we're going to have to enter overtime. Here comes the Reef Slider. Rice needs to watch out as Kami will be rushing it, but Kami's going down, I think, to the Rainmaker. All 4 members of Dandelions are still on the scene. I think Rice will be going down to a Hail Mary toss by Dio.
Games 3 and 4 especially, I think we've seen Dio really show up and just guide this team to what looks like it could be a win, as Sig's going to set up on this right-hand side, avoiding the Zuka. Now, with such a nice lead, oh, you're kind of in holding mode, but the Crab is going to get picked. A huge value flip for Dandelion, who's going to go up 1, up 2. Oh my gosh, can they get Kami as well? A long wipe facilitated by Rice, as they're going to be rolling here. One more shot left.
With the Zuka here, not any targets claimed, and now Dio has entered the fray once more. Storm is in tow, the tower has been lost. Turnip's trying to take control of the ledges here. They're still in Yellow Jackets' court here. They just need to push up a little bit more up the ante on this aggression here. There's 2 members down on Yellow Jackets. Dandelion can still get going.
Oh yeah, crucial pick by Turnip to get Dio on the ledge there, as they're going to break this checkpoint here. Now they just need to make sure they can get an attempt at the lead back. It looks like the tower's going to be rolling forward. They only need 1 more point here, but everybody will go down except for Rice, who's going to phonetically strike the tower. Get 1, get 2. They are able to grab the lead. Dandelions, oh my gosh, they're going to knock this one out, and we are headed to a game 5.
The hold is still real. They're already almost halfway through their points, breaking out of the 50 threshold into the 45, and it's only CG left once more.
Yeah, this could be it right here as CG also goes down a long wipe. This is looking like a lot how the start of game 4 looked, but anything can happen here. As we saw last time, Dio trying to get a cheeky pick off to the right-hand side. Here comes Azuka to try and make something happen from Dandelion. Will pick Dio. The strikes are going to come out too, but the striker is picked as well, as now we're in single digits. The Carbon will go down too, and Yellow Jackets is booking a ticket to Grand Finals. Dandelion gave him a ride the second time around, but they will advance in a Game 5 set. Tommy is just going to be kind of taking a distracting route, preparing a flank for when their teammates are up. Now that Reef Slider, which wasn't useful on Umami, could be here, but Rafa's going to get the pick on Kami, and oh my gosh, that could be the win right there, the winning stagger if Yellow Jackets can't get back.
They need to move fast. They need to paint fast. Sig pops the crab. Dio pops the hammer. Can this be the paint? Zone's in neutral. Can they get it? The zone flips. 72 penalty points go to Distinct here. Yellow Jackets are still in this. Enough. Dio's going down. Once again, Afro has Azuka ready to rip here. They still have to take this lead back 44-16, but Afro shoots down 2, shoots down Sig, shoots down Storm. They have Kami in their sights. They're being supported by these lasers. Tiger has that bubble ready to go here. This will definitely be perfect as they cruise past this first checkpoint area. The bubble has been popped here. They're going to actually be able to make it to the second checkpoint. They will be able to take the lead. Here, there's still 2 specials to watch out for, and no, 6 going down to the curling bomb.
No way do we go down to the curling bomb there. That's okay though, still anybody's game as Dio is gonna help pop with 3 down for Distinct. You're looking for Tiger, who's in that bubble right there, is chipped as Sig will pick up the rain. A chance for redemption, you just need 2 points as Tiger will go down. It's up to the bow, who is gonna get picked. A wipeout will lead to a huge push for Yellow Jackets all the way to 10. Dropping team fight after team fight as Distinct is rolling forwards here. The Zuka trying to find Sig as Mooj is gearing up to find an opportunity to score. And now the Whale coming in with the gas and the roller is going to allow 1 ball, 2 balls. It's all the way down to 37 and the picks keep coming for Distinct as Afro setting up on this left-hand side here. Look, we've got people rotating back for clams. Only a few seconds left. You really just have to keep the basket open at this stage of the game. Mooj will be picked, another, but if you can get 1 more clam in, you may be able to decide this game without going to overtime, and it will happen. Distinct sends us to a Game 5.
Right as soon as Yellow Jackets moved to halfway through their points, and then water level has now dropped. Kami managing to get a pick onto Mooj. That'll definitely be useful as there's no more chip damage, or a lot less chip damage to deal with if you're Yellow Jackets. The crab is coming out here, but Rafa is rushing that, but will be punished and will be going down to 6 crab. I think Afro is next here, and Kami's just taking the fight once again, taking out Afro, taking out Tiger. They have the Reef Slider ready to go as well. Dio is not over being the oppressive wiper. They just take the title away from Rafa and says, Mom said it's my turn now. And they do not have the hammer, but Kami still has the Reef Slider here. And they're deadly close to knocking out. They're almost in the single digits. Afro is using the Zuka here. That's not going to claim any targets. Distinct is 2 members down. 5, 3, 2, 1. The Reef Slider. And they will take 2 members down. And Yellow Jackets with a knockout will take game number 5 and take Qualifier 2 of SAC Season 10.
First, it was Operation Zero. Second, it was Yellow Jackets. Who's going to be number 3? We're going to find out today, as it's going to be SAC Qualifier number 3. Welcome to our stream. I'm Nito, joined by my partner in crime, to hopefully the right side I'm pointing on. Now it's going to be Candy. Yeah.
You are indeed pointing to the right side. And I'm pointing this way to Nito. Yes, we are on the mic. Very happy to be here with SAC Qualifier number 3. Gonna have a long day ahead of us trying to figure out who is going to be the next team qualifying for the SAC finals later in June. As Nito said, I am Hammy. Glad to be on the mic. And Nito, how are you feeling today?
I woke up from a nap 30 minutes ago, so I'm feeling great. Fantastic. A little sleepy, but fantastic.
Glad to hear. See, that's the nice thing about being an hour ahead of EST is these afternoon tournaments happen at like 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. my time. So I am sitting pretty every time we get these weekend tournaments. Now, I believe we are just waiting to get set up with our first match of the day, trying to figure out who we are going to be looking at. But I'm looking at a couple of these teams that are signed up for Qualifier 3. A couple names that I recognize, to people that may have been in the other qualifiers previously. Nito, are there any teams here signed up today that you're looking to keep an eye on?
Immediately, in Group A, off the top of my head, it's going to be distinct. You saw the highlights earlier. That is the team that went the distance against the Yellow Jackets. Ultimately, Yellow Jackets able to win that one. But you can imagine Distinct is going to be coming into this third qualifier with a vengeance. I mean, they want to make up for what happened in that previous qualifier, and they want to make things right here. So that's one thing I want to look out for. Another one I'm looking out for is Group B, actually. Insomniac Central is definitely another team that I think is going to cause a lot of trouble, especially in the bracket stages, because Insomniac Central is by far one of the stronger teams in Group B, so it's definitely something else to look out for.
Yeah, definitely. I am also a believer in Insomniac Central, one of those teams that have been on the grind, pushing their way through straight from the low level up into this mid-level area, and they've been doing a lot of cool things. Yeah, so a lot of teams here that are going to be hungry, trying to get their place into the finals, once again happening later in June. And I do believe we have our first match confirmed. We're going to be watching Royalty versus Chronically Rusty.
Which is a fantastic thing to call your team. I mean, I'm looking at some of these names on the roster, and I can certainly confirm that these are names I haven't seen in a long while. One of them, the two that are sticking out are Narco and Red, although there have been a lot of Reds in my competitive history. So, I don't know, one of the Reds, but there are a lot of Reds that I've seen hanging around a competitive scene for a while. So, I do believe I do believe you have something you see a lot in competitive Splatoon, where it's like a team that has a lot of history behind our back. Heck, Yellow Jackets is one of those teams that historically have done well in the past. And then you have another team like Royalty with newer names that could also cause some damage, especially now early on in the group stage.
Yeah, that is definitely an interesting thing to think about. You have these players who've been here for years on that grind, but you have those players might be a bit more naturally talented, those ones that can get through the ranks very quickly and in a short amount of time get to that higher level. Sometimes you need those new sparky, unique players who are really going to cause some commotion, but it's also nice to have those well-tenured players that really understand the ins and outs of a game that's as intricate as Splatoon.
Right, and it's funny because both of these teams, I'm sure, have gone through what every Splatoon team will go through eventually. It's such as looking at that one FLC document. Most of you in chat know what I'm talking about. Going through an 0-3. Most of you in chat probably know what I'm talking about. If not, you guys are doing pretty well. And if so, welcome to the club. But either way, we're going to start with round one. It's going to be play all three for the rest of this group stage. And if we're going to start anywhere, well, it may as well be Splat Zones on Crab Leg.
Splat Zones, Crab Leg, a map I always go back and forth in this one. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it. It's a lot of weapons are going to have a field day here, and as much as I'm a believer that comps aren't what get you the win, I do think that the comps are going to be very important going into this first game.
And one specific thing, and actually a reason I kind of agree with you on that whole on and off thing, sometimes you love it, sometimes you hate it, it's going to be the greats. The greats are the biggest staking point of this, and it's very often, it's the reason you'll often see a weapon like a blaster or a slosher, a longer range slosher, of course, making their way to this stage because of how dangerous those greats are. But now we're going into Splat Zones, and that's going to be more of a precarious situation. So you don't have to use those greats, but they're another option that you can have in order to gain more of a map presence on a map.
Yeah, exactly. And excuse me, as I was talking about with the weapon picks too, is not only are those greats a very important place to hold, but there are a lot of weapons that can counter that. You know, seeing blasters, weapons that have AoE and ability to clear those greats, versus weapons that can play on those greats really well, like your Splatlings, like your Chargers, your longer range weapons, maybe even a Crab, some dualies, or maybe even, I've seen a lot of people run Vanilla Pros sometimes recently on Crab Leg. So there's a lot of interesting options here, and I do think we're gonna hopefully see some weapons shine here in game one.
Right, and looking at both of these teams, and honestly, I like doing this thing where I go into, since we're all on Sendo, I like doing this thing where I just snoop around people's Sendo dotting profiles, see what's going on. Choreo, again, another name I've heard around this scene for a long while, is a blaster main. In fact, the only weapon they have marked down is that range blaster, so hey, you guys might be more than ready for an occasion like this. In fact, most of these teams seem to have a blaster on their side, so something to look out for, as we seem to have a marked match, I believe.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was curious. Yeah, it's game 1 got marked as finished on Sendo, so I'm curious if the players might have gotten a little gung-ho and played already, or maybe if it was just a misclick. So we're waiting on that, kind of seeing how we're going to go about it on the production side. So me and Nito get to keep yapping, as I love to yap constantly. Yeah, so looking at the Ascendo pages, I do want to point out Red. You were talking about them earlier, as if you weren't sure if it was the Red you knew or not. But looking at that weapon pool, I'm seeing Custom Explosher, Ballpoint, Crab-Headed, and Hydra. Those are a lot of weapons that could be very interesting. All 4 of those could work great on a crab leg map. And that, I'm interested to see any of those weapons come out, honestly.
I mean, Crab, a Custom Explo, and any Explosher, it's not a weapon you see very often. In fact, in terms of like this level of gameplay that we're at, for what you see in the SAC, mid-level Splatoon, you don't see Explosher that often. You're really once in a blue moon, but Explosher is a really funny weapon because of how versatile it is as an supposed anchor weapon. I mean, of course, we know that most of these weapons aren't set to one form or set to one role, but Explosher is certainly a weapon that can do just about most.
Yeah, now we do see the Custom Explosher coming out, but we are on game 2 already. Clam Blitz on Barnacle and Dime, as game 1 got played off stream, unfortunately. So we're going to be rolling with the punches and going into game number 2. From the looks of it, Chronically Rusty are the team that took game 1. So they're up now already in the series.
And it is play all 3, so we will still see games 2 and 3. And we'll also see a triple coming out from Royalty and Wipeout, from Royalty. Go ahead and correct me while I'm at it. And that is going to be a huge opener there. That's going to be the first power clam in. You can expect there to be a second, and there it is. 60 points remaining is going to be the mark for Royalty. Chronically Rusty now, after we assume is a strong start in game 1, has now been astonished here in game 2.
Yeah, already down to 37 remaining in less than a minute. And even once Chronically Rusty have cleared them out, but they still haven't taken the map back, getting held back by a lone blaster, unable to take space now. 2 members of Royalty are already pushed up onto the plat, a third one coming in from behind, and still with control of mid is Royalty.
Royalty still in, as like you said, still in control. In fact, still in control of this stack 2. That is proving to be very difficult for Chronically Rusty to get past, especially if they lose 1 player. They lost 2, that's 3. That's another wipeout within the span of just over a minute. And another power crab within that same span, as we get more points coming in for Royalty. Another strong push here, only 3 clams away from a KO. A strong start to what was another strong start coming out from Chronically Rusty, as Royalty are 3 clams away, but they won't have it here.
Unfortunately, they could not end that game right there. No one able to back up for those clams. A couple of specials coming out, and whether it was miscommunication and nobody realizing they had to be the one to go back, or maybe they just wanted to keep that lockout. They don't want to KO this game yet. They want to flex a little bit on screen before they end this game. 2 power clams in their possession is enough to KO. They only need 38 points, including the penalty in total. So if they can get another wipeout, they could push through, but with 2 players down, Power by themselves is having to try to jump out of a splashdown. Chronically Rusty, for the first time in half the game, are in control of mid.
And it's a good control so far, but they do lose 1 player. It's been steady for Chronically Rusty as they try to sneak their way past, but is Kraken going to have anything to say about it? Yes, it will. Riot goes down. Chronically Rusty losing 1, losing 2. Could this be some deja vu? Not yet. We see a few players back up. 1 jumps out. The crab's up for Chronically Rusty. However, we do see some deja vu in the fact that they have already scored a power clam, and as I was talking, they get the 100 to KO, or at least confirm it there, as Royalty takes game 2.
I am so curious what happened in game 1, because this was dominant from Royalty. Chronically Rusty they had one opportunity that entire game where they got into mid, they held out, and then immediately got doubled by a Kraken and pushed out. But they took game 1. So what happened in Splat Zones on Crab Leg? Something crazy came out for sure. But now I'm confused what's going to happen in game 3. Because we just saw what Royalty can do, but we know that they can lose to Chronically Rusty. So game 3 is going to be a toss-up.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is one of those instances where I really do wish I was a fly on the wall in this match, because something happened in game 1 that Royalty came back from and said, okay, so what? We're going to come into Barnacle 9 Clan Blitz, we're going to bring just about everything, we'll see if you're ready for it. They weren't ready for it. And now Rainmaker Humpback heading into game 3, from what I saw on Clan Blitz, how well they were able to maintain their map presence, and how they never really left mid except for like 20-30 seconds. How that's going to play into this next match?
Yeah, we saw pretty dominant lockouts from Royalty, and that's kind of what you're going to want to see in game 3. You're going to want to see the ability to keep the opposing side away from the middle of the map and away from that elbow to really let you get that Rainmaker in on a good push. But we are seeing a few weapon changes here on the side of, I believe that's Chronically Rusty. No, it's Royalty, Chronically Rusty. Yes, on Chronically Rusty,
yes,
sorry.
No, you're right, and that is a good change to make for Chronically Rusty. Cooler there, and at least some Booyah bombs. Maybe this will help them maintain some presence here, or at least gain it, because that was their problem in the previous set. But as we say that, the Rainmaker bubble is popped. No one has been able to grab it yet. Chronically Rusty loses one player. Might be Corey in trouble here, as they have to back up here, but they don't back up in time. 2 players down for Chronically Rusty. They might lose another one. Narco, they're in a bit of trouble. As Blush able to take the Rainmaker, they should be able to take this first pedestal as well. Unless their Damper in front has anything to say, they do not, and that's going to be the first pedestal going to Royalty.
Yeah, already Royalty once again getting the first push of the game. David getting a cheeky little pick on that Zuka before giving us a nice little spin for the camera. Grabbing this Rainmaker now, as they do have a numbers advantage. Zip coming through. They're just going to ignore it and go for some points, putting the Rainmaker in an inconvenient position as well for Chronically Rusty. So Royalty have a little bit more space to continue this push here, especially if Power's going to keep getting more picks on this Kraken, but unfortunately goes down. The last one, though, once again grabbing that Rainmaker. Splattershot player just buying some time, couple more points on the board, and Chronically Rusty now, they have to make a good push if they want to get back in this game.
It's Splatoon, there's Chaos and Controlled Chaos. Royalty is Controlled Chaos so far. Still able to hold that Rainmaker beyond, or in enemy territory, as Chronically Rusty tries to bring it back, but isn't able to do so. In fact, they lose 2 players in the process. It's a 3v2 so far, as Blush takes the Rainmaker once again, trying to get past this pedestal. Yet again, they're already up to 31 remaining, so a good lead for them, but they're going to be looking for more as they have one special on the clock here. Power in a bit of trouble here, does eventually escape the threat of the Inkjet, backs up a little more, and it's going to be a little bit of a stall here for Royalty.
Yeah, a little bit of a stall, but that's exactly what they kind of want here. They don't need to push anything. Already getting to 31 points now. 2 members down. They might actually extend that lead. We see, just unfortunately, that jump will get out, but it will still let Royalty get down to 7. So as much as that's a clutch jump out, it still doesn't gain your team very much, as Power is still here on this left side, and the KO sliding in. Royalty just playing like kings and queens, shutting down Chronically Rusty, taking this set 2-1.
So what happened in game 1? Because whatever happened had to be completely drastically different from what we saw in games 2 and 3, because game 3 ended sooner than game 2. But we still saw more of the same. Like you said, they could just stall it there and they would have been fine, because Chronically Rusty had nothing to respond with pushes from that game 2 game to now. I mean, this is wow. Wow, is all I have to say.
Now, Nito, ask and ye shall receive. We've gotten a word from our production. Because we're a little bit ahead of the other matches, we're going to see if we can get a replay code of game 1. So we can take a look to see exactly what happened. Just to kind of, give us some insight on, maybe Chronically Rusty are cracked and they had a rough game 2 and 3. Maybe Royalty just really amped it up, or maybe there was a cheese. We don't really know, because splat zones can be a fairly fickle mode sometimes, being able to flip those zones.
Right, and you and me Hey, I mean, we know that game one. I with Cream Corn, I always tell them after every game one, we always say it's a good warm up. It's always a good warm up because game one is like that weird nebulous middle ground where if you don't KO and if they don't KO, now it's like, all right, we're just figuring out whatever our team's doing. And even if you do KO, it's like, all right, we're still figuring out what both teams are capable of. So hopefully we can get this replay code. But I mean, yeah, game one is always a weird little middle ground where we're just feeling each other out and seeing what both teams are able to do here.
See, unfortunately, I'm on the other half of it. Usually when I play game one, we win, and then we go, okay, now we got this set, and then immediately we're down. And yes, we do have the replay coming in for game one. We get to see how Royalty managed to lose this set to Chronically Rusty. And already this rollout, we do see similar weapons to what we saw during the actual set. So not many like major changes. It's really just going to be a gameplay difference here.
Right, and we all know how this game ends, but we don't know how we get there, and that's going to be the important part here as Chronically Rusty go to get 2 players off from Royalty, but inevitably Royalty there are able to get 1 pick off. Still a few more picks coming out from Royalty. Royalty looking very different here to what we saw. Chronically Rusty doing very well here as we see this ball point moving on to the grates on the side of Royalty, and we're going to see how the rest of this push goes for him.
Yeah, Chronically Rusty able to set up pretty well in the early game. That may have been the linchpin. They didn't get wiped out immediately, so they actually had time to really get some space. So Royalty on the back foot for the first time we saw from this set, and that may have just kind of been what locked them out here as they're trying to paint up the zone here, blush with that pencil that we've seen all set, but unable to really get that much value. The rest of the team not able to find a position, and Royalty are just kind of waiting for something to happen.
Chronically Rusty, this is almost a complete change of the script here because Chronically Rusty setting themselves up very well here. It still seems like Royalty has a say in this set, and they still have the ability to get themselves back into the zone, which they're able to do here. It almost seemed like Chronically Rusty had the idea of a lockout there, but they weren't able to fully execute that action or execute that plan as Chronically Rusty does eventually take back the zone.
Yeah, Chronically Rusty capping the zone again. Realistically, with how quick that first game was, I'm going to assume that this was the last push they kind of had. Once again, Royalty, they can't really, they don't have a way in here. They don't have specials. They don't have, something that can drop in and dive across the enemy team. But Chronically Rusty have the range just to keep them away and just keep pressuring them. The zip also coming in from Rye, really just causing some distractions on that side and not letting Royalty play the objective.
Few more penalty points to chip away for Chronically Rusty before they can confirm this game 1. And it's still a bit of a battle here, especially with these tri-strikes coming out from Royalty. Can they cap the zone here is going to be the question. The answer being not sure what the answer is yet, but these picks coming out from Chronically Rusty will give us an answer. It's finally 5 penalty points remain for Chronically Rusty, and they should be able to confirm this unless barring any major disasters here, and they confirm it. That's how we get the game 1 win. Chronically Rusty, their only win of the set here.
Yeah, a nice little double from Choreo at the very end there as well. And we just watched the last 2 games that set, and we just watched game 1 here in the replay code. I refuse to believe that these are the 2 same teams we just saw in the last 2 games. That was not the Royalty we just watched get a clean double knockout back-to-back. That felt like a very different team. So maybe you're right. You were talking about game 1's a warm-up. Game 1's let's learn how this other team plays, because they were a different beast in the last half of the set.
Right, and there is a certain phrase that you hear thrown around in competitive Splatoon a lot, especially now. It's dive comp. Which one's more divey in these next 3 games? And you're probably thinking it's Royalty. You don't see it a lot in game 1 from Royalty anyway. Chronically Rusty able to hold things down fairly well. All they need to do is sit in mid and make sure they're catching every drop. They're catching every special, and they're able to paint over it especially. What Royalty does in games 2 and 3 is there's 3 or 4 players from Royalty. Swarm 1 player, immediately go to the next one, swarm them, and then it's just, that's how you get those wipes that we saw in the beginning of games 2 and 3. That's just, that fast-paced aggression is what got them to where we are now.
Yeah, and we never even saw that aggression in game one. As I mentioned, when we were watching like the POV of Blush, the pencil player from Royalty, you could see the other 3 members all just kind of on plat, just shooting off into mid. They weren't diving in, they weren't playing, they weren't being aggressive, they weren't fighting together. They were just kind of, it seemed like they were waiting for specials, but nobody was getting them. In games 2 and 3, they must have had a quick little pep talk saying like, okay, no, like this is how we're gonna do it. We know that what we did didn't work, so let's try something different, and it worked wonderfully. They got 2 very quick KOs, very dominant games, and being up a set already after round 1 of Swiss is going to set you up pretty well for the rest of the day.
Oh yeah, for sure, and especially considering you still have a few more rounds, actually quite a few more rounds to go. We still, because of how fast those 3 sets were, we're still looking at round 1 and trying to clear a few more sets. We do have a few results coming in, more 3-0s, which again goes to show how surprising this 2-1 is. I mean, from what you saw in games 2 and 3, before we got to game 1, it's surprising that we got to that 2-1 result. And then we see the replay code, and like we've said, that is, how do we get here? How did we get here?
I like genuinely, when we finished the set and we saw those 2 games, I started to think like, did they get rulebooked? Were they late? Did something happen where they like I couldn't believe that. This is nothing against Chronically Rusty either, saying like, oh, they can't win, because they looked very confident in game 1. I just think that they got overwhelmed in the last 2 games, but it seemed like a whole other beast. So it's one of those things that I like to highlight when it comes to just competitive gaming in general, is that consistency is key. We saw how Royalty can play, but we also saw how they can lose. And you really need to find that balance of being able to pull out that game 2 and 3 every single game. That is how you win games. That is how you get to the SAC finals, if you can do that consistently.
And with what Royalty showed there, I was actually commentating for the Division 1 finals yesterday, and it seemed like any team that just does that aggression confidently, not just confidently, but it's like they're almost working in step with one another, because I feel like there's always a communication of like, okay, we're targeted this player, we got him, let's move on to the next player. It's always about like, all right, how much more presence can we acquire from getting these picks? Which picks will get us to where we want to be? And that is the difference between teams that usually have that aggression in mind, and you can see it on the game, but you don't see it executed properly. As I said, properly, lack of a better term. Teams that can do it so well, so where they're always talking to one another, saying, "All right, if we get this pick, we move on to this next pick." This is what I've seen from Royalty. I think when you have teams that can execute that properly, that's when you start to get teams that move on to grand finals, and I think that's what I see from Royalty here. It is round 1, so lots to wait for in this event, but that is going to be a good showing, at least for that team.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. We're in round 1 of Swiss. There's still 3 more rounds of Swiss, plus the bracket stage. 23 teams that are very capable in this qualifier today. And you know, and as you said, realistically, what we are looking for are those people who can apply what they know, because that is how you get out of the mid-level. It's a point where you are mechanically skilled enough to be out of what we consider low-level Splatoon. You are that good, but it's being able to not only understand the first step is understanding the game. The second step is being able to recognize that and immediately implement it when you also have to focus on painting, on getting kills, on positioning. There's so much going through your head when you are in the game, and it's such a fast-paced game that you have to be able to keep track of it. And on top of that, then communicate with your teammates and work together. It is an intricate dance of information and application, and being able to do that is what's going to get you into the next step in your competitive journey.
And that, ladies and gents of competitive Splatoon, is a sign for you to start playing OverCooked. Because OverCooked is the same thing. it's a party game, so you're probably thinking, oh, well, this is just like Mario Party. I'm going to lose a friend, and I'm not going to get anything about competitive prowess in the process. But, like, Overcooked and Splatoon, you find out are more similar than ever because of how much you have to communicate while also doing this. There is a fire burning on the other side of this kitchen. There is water, something that needs to be put out there. I need to take this food out. I need to go throw this in the trash. And yet there's other 3 people yelling at you. It's a fun game, but also it shows us, it shows how important that communication is and that understanding of the game is in a place that isn't Splatoon. I mean, it's pretty much applicable everywhere, but especially in competitive Splatoon when everything is racing at about a mile a minute.
Yeah, see, now I'm learning the reason I'm hard stuck Div 5 is because I've had Overcooked in my Steam library unplayed and undownloaded for years. And this is exactly why I haven't gotten through to the next level. I haven't played Overcooked. Not even a fast-paced game requiring communication. Overcooked specifically. And I do believe we just I gotta check the actual Twitch stream to confirm this. Do we just have Overcooked open? Are we just playing Overcooked now? No, okay. We as a little tidbit for people watching at home, me and Nito now just see an Overcooked stream from Ellie on the production. They're just opening Overcooked on their Switch, and now we're just watching them play Overcooked.
I mean, why not? It's gonna be a while until we get to the next set. I mean, we have a few games that we're waiting on, but to show y'all what's going on in Overcooked, I feel like the best way to do it is to just have our streamer play it. So shout outs to Ellie for pulling this out last minute, but at the same time, I was not expecting to go back to the Discord app and all of a sudden see a little cute animal chef on the screen.
See, this is where you get the multiple monitor setup. I can see the Twitch stream, so I know that they can't see Overcooked, but I can see Overcooked over here. I got the whole gamer setup here. Honestly, that's why I probably can't level up, not because I don't play Overcooked, but because half the time when I'm playing Splatoon, I got other things going on both sides of my screen. Like I have the, you know, like the Subway Surfers and like the cutting stove fit. Like that's what I got going on. I got the slop on my other monitors that's not letting me lock in fully. That's probably it.
I'm coding. This is not so. Whatever. That's a really interesting insight, and I don't know what to do with it because I actually have a second monitor here that I haven't used yet, but it's turned off for whatever reason. But it's an interesting thing to think about because I haven't done a dual monitor setup in a while, and I realize that I am yapping. But that's the cool part about competitive Splatoon streams, that sometimes when we don't have much to talk about, you will just see whatever happened. I like it. We are the whatever.
Yes. Is this actually Overcooked time? I saw the SAC transition. Yes, Overcooked on stream because we're still waiting on other matches to finish. This is how you improve at competitive Splatoon. This is what we are here for. Also, I'm looking at the bracket just to see kind of how things are going. I see a set that is still 0-0. So I'm really hoping that they just are actually playing those matches and this isn't like an actual case where they've been delayed this far, because that's never what you want to see in tournaments. That's always, yeah, I'm looking at their screen. They just finished game 1, so we have a little bit of time to wait here.
Well, that's perfect because all of you can now see why I am talking about Overcooked, although this is the tutorial, so maybe it's not the best time to go for it. By the way, I am a big fan of the mouse chef, so if we see him at any point, if we have time for it, perfect, but whatever. Regardless, welcome to, how do I fit this into the SAC acronym?
I'm trying to make it SAC acronym for Overcooked. Slicing and cooking. Salting.
The slicing and cooking qualifier does sound good, though. I'll tell you that much.
Either way, yes. I got distracted. I was intently watching the Overcooked tutorial. I haven't played Overcooked, so I was like, okay, how do you do this? I distracted myself.
I I haven't seen this tutorial in a while. I have it on Steam, so it's like I kind of know how to play this game already. Okay, so there's... Wait, okay, so this tutorial... There's 2... Oh, you're controlling both of them. Is that what's going on? Okay, this has gone...
I think the fact that we're struggling with the tutorial is why none of us are playing today and why we're all commentating today.
Yeah, why did I get to Div 3? Okay, so this is... for the first time, I'm at a loss for words. No, no, I want break. It's perfect.
Yeah, I'm sitting in the background here. I'm watching the streams from the players who are in that delayed set. They went to game 2 and then they ended the match. So we are still on hold for some other matches. And this is, you know what, like the SAC qualifiers were going too good. There wasn't enough issues going on with the bracket. There Splatoon brackets as a law have to have delays.
And then, yeah, the better question is what you do during those delays, and we could yap. We kind of are still yapping, so we're at least fulfilling that role. There is also the potential for a break, which, you know, would have been a sensible solution. But we're also chopping lots of tomatoes, and these people need food, so we gotta get the food on the plate, and then you gotta get the thing out for the people to eat. Exactly, like what we saw.
I like the dynamic we have here where you and I are kind of like ushering on Ellie, our lovely production person, to play Overcooked, and they are unhappy with this decision. They do not want to be here playing Overcooked. But we are like, dance, monkey, dance for our amusement, play Overcooked, continue to cook these dishes while we wait for round 2 of Swiss SAC qualifier number 3 to begin, ever so slowly, making progress on that.
We are waiting on $6 comms versus Xiphias, which is currently 1-1. The only set, by the way, that we're waiting on, so everyone else has completed. Distinct, most notably Distinct, going 2-1 against the Elite Four. That is the team that finished second place last week. Other notable results include the Tidings getting second in their group right now, at least getting an edge above Insomniac Central for the time being, as well as the edge we're seeing on the knife that is required to cut these ingredients so that people can have the food that they would like to have. Thank you for smooth.
Yeah, I will say I have not paid enough attention. I only just realized we're making salads. It's like, why are the only ingredients lettuce and tomato? What's happening here? Like, what are we eating? I want to see if there's a stream for... No, yeah, it's still set to 1-1. So yeah, $6 comps to Xiphias. Notably, actually, that set did just finish. $6 comps did take it 2-1 over Xiphias. The number 1 seed barely clutching out a win in the first round. And again, that goes to show the level of Splatoon we're seeing is that the number 1 seed, number 2 seed, both the number 1 seed and the number 3 seed. I'm looking now to see. Yes, the first and third seed both only going 2-1 in the first round. So definitely a lot of strong contenders as we are gearing up for round 2 of Swiss.
Round 2 of Swiss with a brief sponsorship provided by Overcooked and the people who made Overcooked, which I believe is Ghost Ship Games. So whether or not you like it, thanks for sponsoring us. Thank you. This is not a choice. Thank you. As we get this last salad out of the way with a second to go. Great action. Everyone give a round of applause for Ellie for all of her excellent cooking that we saw on stream as we get towards round 2 eventually.
Yes, thank you, Ellie, for showing us how it's done, showing us how to be a competitive Splatoon player and play Overcooked. I think it was Overcooked 2 specifically. And now I know how to get out of low level. Now I am enlightened. But what I'm more excited for is round 2 of Swiss. We have Xiphias versus the Elite Four. They are going to enlighten me even more. They're going to show me how to play the game that we're here to watch, which is Splatoon 3.
This is Splatoon 3. Now we're actually getting to the content I'm pretty sure most of y'all came here. If you came here for the brief Overcooked information, I apologize, but we're still cooking something. And that something is going to be round 2 of the SAC Season 10 Qualifier. Now, Xiphias and the Elite Four are both teams that especially Xiphias. Xiphias is another team that did take a game off of this, what is the first seed in the tournament so far. So maybe something to look out for Xiphias. It actually turns out that the Elite Four and Xiphias are both close together in the group standings right now.
Yeah, I don't want to toot their horn too much. I'm a Xiphias fan. You know, the team that was in the low level for a while. I know all their players decently well from playing against them. Even met some of them at LANs. Great bunch of folks there. Elite Four, a pickup that I am not as familiar with. But just looking at their Sendo pages, I do see some badges, I see some high placements in X battles, and I see a lot of weapons that are annoying to deal with. Notably, I'm seeing somebody who was 5-starred both of the squeezers, and that unchecked can be deadly.
And that is supposed to be a Splatoon 2 common sight, but this Splatoon 3, we haven't seen a bubbler in years, so a squeezer, that much dedication to a squeezer, has to be just as dangerous as seeing a person who can do it all. Any dedication to any weapon means that no matter what stage of the meta you think that weapon's in, it just brings so much more to it. That skill that you now have with that weapon. So I want to see how that plays out in these matches.
Yeah, I always love to see those uncommon weapons, not even like ones that, like, you know, it's like, I don't care about how high or low the tier weapon is. I like to see when somebody is dedicated to their craft. I mean, me specifically being a one trick, I respect it so much when I see other people equally as dedicated to a weapon, trying to show off its strengths, trying to find solutions to its weaknesses, and then fitting it into a roster to complete a whole well-rounded team comp that can you know, get some W's as you're going through these matches. And going to game 1 of Swiss round 2 is going to be Splat Zones on Ship Shape Cargo Co.
Ship Shape, that's an interesting map, mainly because of its geometry. I always like to call it the Schellendorf of Splatoon 3. I mean, it feels similar, at least, to what you had in Schellendorf. You have the great big thing in the middle, except now it's just underground. It's underground rather than being on top of you. But apart from all that, everything seems pretty straightforward, which I mean, like it or not, seems to be a common theme here in Splatoon 3 maps. But with Ship Shape, it can turn very lockout heavy very quick.
Yeah, I do like your comparison to Schellendorf, but the big thing you notice is that the overarching like platform is paintable. It's not the glass we saw in Schellendorf, so the mobility up there is much higher. It's a viable flank route for basically any weapon. A backliner can jump across to set up, frontliners can jump across to roll back down the other side. It's Schellendorf if Schellendorf was much faster paced.
And then, you know what, that glass was the only reason I take Schellendorf. Schellendorf could have been a little bit more, but you know what? That is all fine. It's all good. So we had Ship Shape as a replacement, more inkable, more paint, and I think that helps with Splatoon because Splatoon is supposed to be a faster-paced game. So what Nintendo tries to do here is they say, all right, give them paint, give them more swimming areas. We're gonna enable them to what they want. Of course, Tacticooler is your friend if you like going fast. So those two together means Ship Shape is a map you're going to see very often here in competitive Splatoon, and a map you're going to see here soon.
Yes, I am very excited to see this first game. Ship Shape Zones is a favorite of mine. I do like those maps that are a little bit more unique in the way that they're shaped. You know, there's a lot of positions you can play from on Ship Shape that I feel like you can't get in other maps. Even just like those corners in the zone. The zone is fully encased by itself, and it makes it like a nice like the fight pit like under on Sturgeon Shipyard. It feels like that, but you have to go there. It's not optional. It's not ignored. You're forced to really play in that position, and it makes for an interesting experience as we are finally getting into our first game. Xiphias versus Elite Four. Who's going to take round 2 of Swiss?
Number one rule of the fight pit is that you will more of the fight pit here right now as we start game 1. Xiphias in the yellow, Elite Four in the blue, and that is a sploosh I am seeing from the Elite Four. An interesting pick.
Yes, the sploosh, and also that squeezer that we talked about as well. Xiphias bringing out weapons that they are known to be playing. The bow from Sluggy, their tried and true weapon class. Already Xiphias is in control of the zone, but aren't able to get a lockout as Rusty, able to get behind him on that squeezer, not finding value, has to jump out. But now Elite Four has walked through, not capped the zone though, opting to go for the kills first before JRK is going to turn around and get that cap, putting them in control of the board.
Well, the best defense is a good offense, and good thing the Elite Four is currently having both, because those picks mean they can walk up, take up all the presence they need, take up all the map and turf that they need, and that means JRK can do what JRK does best, and just run around with this sploosh. Look at this, uncontested. Ooh. First another two picks on the board for the Elite Four as they continue to hold the zone.
The nice little jump up and tap on the top of the head onto the crab to get that double kill. And not being content with that double, going back in, trying to get more in the hallway, but getting picked off. Here comes the slider, unable to, actually does manage to flip and get the penalty, but the counter slider will remove the cap. Ooh. So now they have to recap though, but with a wipeout, that's going to be pretty easy. And Xiphias, with a short penalty, are back in control of the map.
Wow, that is a drastic change from what we were seeing in that first 90 seconds of the match, really, as Xiphias now holding on to this sort of lockout position. You see both of these teams taking similar positions as we get further into this first game, but it's ultimately going to be Xiphias that takes out and actually stops the counter push from the Elite Four. Xiphias still holding on to the zone strong here. It's JRK currently holds the most highlights in the game so far, but it's going to be Jose that takes it out, not without a trade though, as Xiphias still going back and forth on this zone. The Elite Four might be able to cap this very soon here, and they should if Ollie is able to paint the rest of it. Still neutral here, still highly contested. Both of these teams trading picks yet again, but it's going to be the Elite Four that loses more players in the process. This Reef Slider is ready to go, but maybe they don't need it as they should cap the zone here.
Xiphias staying stubborn, keeping that zone neutral until they're finally able to cap. But 2 members down, it's just up to Sluggy and Smokey to hold out and give some jumps to their teammates. The hammer coming through will get shut down. Fortunately, JRK not able to get any value from that. Xiphias still somewhat in control, but going a player down, though both sides skirmishing, getting a lot of picks, but 3 down for Xiphias now. Elite Four are going to get back in control here, and they still have the lead.
Rusty now with the squeezer. An interesting pick that I saw, like you mentioned in the start of the match. An interesting pick because of how much you can poke around. I want to see how much forward pokes around here as the Elite Four goes back to where they were earlier. They're still holding on to the lead, but it's a shorter lead now that Xiphias was able to get some more points on the board. 2 minutes to go in this matchup. Xiphias and the Elite Four still trading picks here, and it's going to be Xiphias until that restarter. They're going to respond. Elite Four's going to respond with a restart of their own. Now the zone is highly contested here. The Elite Four goes back to control.
JRK running through in the hammer, managing to run through the zip, get to the rest of the team, but Xiphias once again able just to shoot straight through the stamps and manage to get the pick. But it did buy space. Even though no players went down, JRK pushed the rest of Xiphias away. Penalty has been cut through. Elite Four now counting down, but the slider coming from Smokey is going to instantly cap, though losing the numbers advantage of Xiphias. So Elite Four are going to get back in control, get a couple jumps, and they're looking to lock out with just over a minute left.
And now they're even further up here. We see Rusty, we see the Slosher here as well, the Dreadringer from the Elite Four. Further up now is the Elite Four as they want to hold on to this, but they do play in the process. They will get rid of the penalty points though, and that means more points on the board for the Elite Four. But how much longer will these points continue to mount up? Not very long though, because Xiphias has some more tower on his own here, as we see that actually hasn't flipped yet for Xiphias. The Elite Four still holding on to the zone here with 40 seconds left to go. 90 remaining is the mark for them, and it's going to continue increasing as they regain control of the zone. 10 ticks left for them, and it's still highly contested here. Xiphias able to challenge it a little longer here, but for how long? Much longer? JFK says not much longer. Game 1 going to the Elite Four.
Unfortunately for Xiphias, I don't think they realized JRK got behind them, getting a double, maybe even a triple. Couldn't quite tell because the camera did switch around, but they were so focused on the zone, understandably so. Less than 10 ticks to UKO. That's a do or die scenario, but it's not a scenario where you want a weapon like a Sploosh behind you, picking you off systematically one by one. We saw a lot of value from the Sploosh that game, so I think that comp worked out very well for Elite Four.
And an excellent pick with that Sploosh too, because of how well it paints its own path. I mean, you have the curling bomb, obviously, but you have the Sploosh, which is going to paint immediately in front of itself. So JRK doesn't have that much trouble weaving in and out of Xiphias and whatever they have in the front lines or in the anchor positions there. And that made it very easy for JRK to just take advantage of that throughout the rest of the match. So great work with the Sploosh. It's one thing to have that Sploosh. It's another thing to know how to use it very well. And the Elite Four knew how to use it very well. We're going to see if it continues on to Game 2 as we head into Clan Blitz on Scorch Gorge.
Yeah, Clan Blitz Scorch Gorge could be a different scenario. Not quite sure yet. So that Sploosh could come in because, I mean, having a sneaky weapon on Clan Blitz could do them wonders. But Xiphias are now aware that they want to do that. They know what JRK is going to try to do. And there's not a lot of opportunities on Scorch Gorge. It's just that bridge. If we can if Xiphias can have somebody watching that position, that could just be a free 4v3 scenario for Xiphias if they can systematically remove JRK from the picture. And from what I believe, we are going to be getting a player swap as well. Smokey, the player on the Dreadringer, is going to be switching out for E-Man. So we are going to be seeing a different comp from Xiphias, because I know that E-Man is a very aggressive fighter. They use a lot of short-range, high-power weapons.
Right, I'm looking at Sendo right now. I like to try Slosher. If you know me, you know that I've used to try Slosher for many, many years. So anyone that uses try Slosher is instantly going to get my approval. No bias, of course, but there's also a Neo Luna. So what they're trying to do here is essentially have something that could be just as distracting, just as aggressive as JRK on the side of the Elite Four, and say, well, if you can do it, then we can do it too. We're gonna, at the very best, we're looking for a 3v3, see if we can even things out. At worst, that means we're still gonna have something to look out for, and at least we know what to look out for.
Yeah, and here we see E-Man on the Luna Blaster with the hammer and the fizzy. That, I think, it actually is going to fit well into this comp. Actually, and also the Wellstring coming in from Sluggy. So a couple changes inside of Xiphias are going to give them a lot of power behind their punches.
Oh, absolutely. That's going to be something to watch out for as Xiphias gets the pick here. Jose and E-Man already making a 2v for the side of Xiphias, the Elite Four. JRK, they're actually able to back out there, but not before 2v1 from Xiphias had to force that back out. The Elite Four and Xiphias, no major pushes here as we head into 30 seconds in the match.
Yeah, 30 seconds in, and we do see Xiphias in control. The double kill from Jose, almost a triple, but not quite. But it also gives space for Sile to get in on the side of that sword. Already the basket was broken up before Xiphias, past the 60 mark already.
Oh, wow.
But no players going back for clams. They might have to back up a little bit here as two players are down. They're going to get flanked on that side. E-Man getting one last clam as a last goodbye before they get taken down. And Sluggy now forced to anchor, already back on the gate. But two players walking forward. Here comes the hammer. They will go down. The hammer goes past the jump. JRK a little bit mistimed it, but the throw kills them there.
Oh, thank you, Stamp Buffs, for giving us highlights and picks that shouldn't be possible, and yet they are. As we see JRK getting that one pick. Rusty has lots of clams there, but doesn't make the power clam before that suction bomb. Able to pick off that player. Ollie also gets picked off as well from the Elite Four. Xiphias puts a stop to what could have been a dangerous push there for the Elite Four. Xiphias pulling out the crowd, pulling out all the stops here to see what else they can stop the Elite Four from doing.
Ooh, that bomb, watching it slowly come down at the same rate as the crowd, hitting them on the back and getting the one tap. That was a very, intricate bomb placement there we just saw as the camera switched over. Now Koma walking forward with this decap, trying to get into the gate of Xiphias, setting up for a push, using that bubble to let the team get in, but losing JRK already. They tried to push a little bit too far forward. Rusty will break the basket, but Xiphias are not letting them through, holding the gate. Ollie getting a good pick, but has to back up with that power clam. It doesn't seem like Elite Four can get anything else out of that push. They're gonna have to respect this space and find another way back in.
Wow, an interesting stop there from Xiphias, and they're still getting more picks on the board as well. It's something to look out for. JRK currently sharking the Elite Four, waiting for 2 players to come out of spawn there, but they do get 1 pick on a player Xiphias. It's going to be the Samper that goes down. JRK still sharking, still waiting for an opportunity. You might have seen it here. Rusty goes down. Jose responsible for that pick. JRK has now been let loose, but there's 3 players down for the Elite Four. It might be a wipe, but JRK is able to back out just in time. Xiphias has about 9, 10, 11 clams there. Power clam goes in. There's no extra points there, but they do knock out quite a few penalty points. Xiphias, though, forced to back off here. 2 players going down for him. The Elite Four stopping that push.
I respect that Xiphias realized that they shouldn't overcommit to that push. You know, they broke, but they didn't get what they wanted. But they understood that with this lead, they do need to just respect the space, hold out mid. They have a lot of pressure from their comp. Having a Wellspring on your backline is going to do you wonders for controlling mid. And now here comes the other break they're looking for. E-Man has that hammer out, but is the last one alive, unable to find anything, just getting in a couple of last-minute clams before they know they're going to get picked off. At that point, dying isn't a bad thing. It gets you back with your team fairly quickly. It doesn't let you stagger. Elite Four are pushed in, but Xiphias have a little bit of a safety net to work with of points, but it's going away very quickly as Elite Four are down to 49 with a lot more claims coming in soon.
Oh, how is JRK still alive when you don't know? Here this power clamp go in. It does. There it is. 20 remaining for the Elite Four. The lead has changed in their favor. It is only 20 points for the time being, and with a minute to go, things could change, but the Elite Four coming out with an incredible push here to swap the lead with a minute to go.
You asked how JRK was still alive, and the answer to that is unknown, but staying alive just long enough to give the jump to the power clam to get that 20-point lead is exactly what Elite Four wanted. They took away that presence that Xiphias had this entire game going forward. Now already the lead getting swapped. Never mind. The zip from Silence able to distract long enough. A couple more claims coming in. 2 from a KO. Sluggy only has 1, but is opting to back out because with 30 seconds left, they need to just defend. They need to not let Elite Four get another push if they want to tie up the set.
And with 18 seconds to go, it's going to be a crucial few moments for Xiphias and for the Elite Four. The Elite Four, though, they're the ones closest to Xiphias' basket, so this could be dangerous. This is also a power clam there. 2 actually for the Elite Four. Can they get one in? Yes, they do. JRK weaving through the defense of Xiphias, able to get it in. Ollie making a jump here. It's going to be over. They can get this one in, and they do. No, it's not. It's still not over. We still have 15 points remaining. How is JRK up here? We are not sure. As they continue to stay up there, overtime is going to continue, but it's going to run out of time as well. The Elite Four not able to catch up there as Xiphias wins game 2.
Yeah, as you say, unfortunately for Elite Four, not enough clams in the bank to get that win there. You know, they jumped in the power clam. I believe it was, with the penalty, was 35 points. They needed 31. A clam plus 4, a power clam plus 4 extras. In JRK, all the way back up behind the basket with no claims in hand. I believe they had a hammer ready, but that's not going to get you anything when you have no teammates left alive, no claims in your hand in about a second and a half before overtime ends. So Xiphias able to tie up the set 1-1, where it's going to come down to game 3. Xiphias were in this scenario in the first round of Swiss against the first seed of the tournament. They weren't able to clutch it out, but can they clutch out the win against Elite Four with a reverse sweep?
It's going to be a crucial game 3, like you said. And from what I saw from Xiphias, the Elite Four was on the brighter side of most of the pushes we saw in game 1. But game 2, it looked a lot less certain from both of those teams, especially with Xiphias and what they were able to pull out. Especially near the end there, it looked like that final push was the straw that broke the camel's back there, just enough to keep Xiphias in the lead. So going into tower control, Mako Mart, it's going to be, I believe, a similar story. Tower control, of course, being this one mode, one objective where you are controlling the pace of it. And it's similar to Clam Blitz in a way, but I do want to see what both of these teams come out with, because it is a different Xiphias than what we saw in game 2, and maybe we'll see a different Elite Four than what we saw in game 2.
Yeah. Now, one thing I would like to look at is the comps they've been running. The Xiphias comp sounds like a nightmare to play against on tower control. You have a tri-stringer / wellstring main. You have a blaster. You have a crab from the dualies. And you have a sword. Those are not things you want to fight against on tower control. So Elite Four are going to need to find a good way to clear off the tower. They're going to need some of those GG specials. They're going to need maybe some strikes, maybe a booyah. They have had a hammer and a Zuka, which aren't too bad at it. And they do have a bubble from Koma-chan from game 2 with that decav. But overall, they don't have quite the same amount of applicable weapons and specials that are commonly used on tower as Xiphias does naturally.
No, absolutely not. And, well, we're going to see what comes out of most of these teams as we head into Game 3. They still play all 3, but most of these teams are tied, so major implications here heading into this third game. A new splash coming out from, I believe that is going to be the Elite Four. Yes, that is going to be the Elite Four. Those are the GG specials you were looking for.
Yes, those strikes are exactly what Elite Four are going to need. Just that little extra assurance to not let Xiphias get a good overtime push or even some other pushes during the regulation timer. Ooh. But Elite Four, though, getting into a good position already, getting that pick, getting some sodas, I believe. But no, actually 2 players going down. Both sides are down 2. But JRK now on a pencil. Ooh. Instead of the sploosh. We didn't even notice that at first. A little bit of a switch up.
Yeah, that flex you see from a frontline weapon, any skirmisher slayer type weapon, to an anchor is not something you see very often here in competitive Splatoon, but JRK clearly has a plan in mind here. In fact, all of the Elite Four have a plan in mind. We're going to see what comes out of it. But it's going to be Xiphias whose plan seems to be working out better here as they get a few more picks on the ground here. But the Elite Four ultimately going to be the ones getting points here.
And JRK riding the tower, getting to that first checkpoint, playing the opposite role. We've seen them all set now. The common collected backliner that will bring this team together. Already one player jumping across. Rusty on that squeezer is getting the trade on the crab, but JRK is the last one alive. They do put the sodas out, unfortunately, so they do just grab a soda, try to get in position, getting a pick actually, and not getting pushed away, not faltering from this position at all, with 4 players. Xiphias looking straight at them. And Elite Four somehow are still in control of their own half.
Oh, Koma-chan, wake up! Does eventually wake up there and able to get what? Oh, whoa! Okay, JRK able to get the pick there despite not looking at anything. Dives into the ground, does not get it picked off. Instead, gets teleported to the top here. Lots of things going on here. What we know for certain is the Elite Four still has lead for now, as if he is trying to push that tower, but couldn't get it further than 85 remaining.
JRK is applying the sploosh strategies to Pencil of, hey, look, I'm over here now. But I guess in a way that the game didn't intend, in teleporting off of the map and teleporting back to their own base. But Xiphias, now in control of the tower, are going to try to get to this first checkpoint, but a little bit of a delay as they try to get some picks first. Jose on this side, able to get 2 with those dualies that will get a numbers advantage and likely a checkpoint for Xiphias. Not much to get a lead now. They don't need a checkpoint. They just need to roll past the plat, which is easier said than done. Pencil watching the tower, able to get some damage out, but not able to get the pick. And Xiphias now taking the lead, albeit slightly.
Oh, and again, wiped out too. A strong push there by Xiphias as well. But ultimately, it's still JRK able to help out with these picks. It's important to know what the Pencil's able to do in competitive Splatoon and why it spins so well is because of how mobile it is, how much this magazine-type charger is helping out in terms of supporting your teammates. And that's what we're seeing from JRK there as they play this Pencil, as they're about to play this match, or get into a match with that Pencil, but ultimately the Elite Four holding on here.
Yeah, pushing this tower through. They don't need much for a lead here just to get past this plat, but the splashdown from Ollie is going to push away. Xiphias, tower does get past the lead now. Can they get to this checkpoint? Elite Four, they want to get a little bit more points on the board because they want to get into that scenario where they just have to get an easy defense. They do have a GG special for later in the game if they need it. Yes, there goes the checkpoint. Elite Four sitting in a much better position than they were just a minute ago, and Xiphias are on the back foot.
Xiphias now, like you said, on the back foot, and there's a lot they can do here. We saw what Zay is capable of, what E-Man is capable of, what that Slosher is capable of as well, and we're seeing a little bit more of it right now. 70 seconds to go, but it's ultimately the Elite Four that gets a delayed wipe here. Koma-chan, DCs, as I was about to say, how many picks they got on the board, and now it's Xiphias playing a 4v3. It's too late, I believe, for a DC replay here, so we're just going to have to move on.
yes, there's not only enough time elapsed, but also enough points gained as well. So Elite Four now have the lead. They just need to hold out, but with a permanent numbers disadvantage, losing Koma-chan on the splash, but they still have a lot of good utility in their kit to try to get some picks. They don't need to push, they just need to play safe. The Soda came out, Ollie on the back line of Xiphias trying to get some picks, but getting spotted by the crab. Here comes a splashdown, will get one.
Wow.
Living somehow, despite the whole team looking, getting another one. Ollie, it just locked in once they realized they had to just hold the defense in the 3v4.
Oh my goodness, 10 seconds to go. The Elite Four just might hold on and win this 3v4. It's such a crucial moment here. One player already down, 2 down. JRK gets 1. Might be able to get another. Can we get another? Yes, we do. That's a wipeout for Xiphias. The Elite Four holds on despite the DC and takes game 3.
Able to clutch it out even with that minor setback. Unfortunately for Xiphias, that was the best opportunity they were going to get. They were blessed by the DC, but they weren't able to get a push going. Once again, Ollie on that blaster getting those critical picks when Xiphias started to generate their last push of the game. That will seal the deal. Elite Four taking round 2, 2-1 over Xiphias.
That was a gutsy play there by the blaster too. I did not think that was going to work out well for him, because that was a dangerous spot to be in for that one blaster on the Elite Four. But with those high risk moves comes a high reward, and that's ultimately what the result was for the Elite Four. Xiphias eventually getting wiped there. The Elite Four proving to get the upper hand in that last few moments of the game.
Yes, getting the upper hand is exactly what they wanted to get. Now, with that game done, we, unfortunately for the viewers, we're not going to make all of you watch Overcooked again. We're actually going to be going to a very, very quick intermission as we wait for this next round to start. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be back very, very soon with round 3 of Swiss for the SAC qualifier number 3. We'll be back shortly.
Good morning, y'all. Welcome back. It is time for another edition of a group stage match. This time we are moving on to round 3. I'm sorry. It's much more exciting than what my voice allows. So let's go ahead and go back to the group stage. We're going to go to round 3 of SAC Season 10, the 3rd qualifier. I'm Nito. Joining me is my partner in crime, Hammy.
What's up? Yes, we are back. Round 3 of Swiss. The next match we're going to have on stream is going to be Tidings versus Rule of 4 to the power of 2. Do you believe because Rule of 4, Kronos and Rice are being joined by Nerd and Westy. Nerd from Aquatic Vanguard, Westy from God's Greatest Gamblers, as said on... Actually, they're the coach for God's Greatest Gamblers. Not even on the team. But yes, 4 names that I recognize. And on the side of Tidings, a team that's been around for a little bit. Div 4 team, a couple players there I recognize as well. Also coached by Async. Shout out to Async.
Okay, so that is the actual name of the team. Oh my goodness. Okay, God's Greatest Gamblers. Well,
yeah.
You learn something new every day. The only question is what you do with that information. And right now, I don't know what I do know is that both of these teams are heading into we're all heading into the later stage of the group stage. So it makes sense that there's a little bit more on the line as we head into this Rule of 4 on the lower end of the Group B standings. And as we look further into this, Tidings is just a few steps away from getting a spot at the gold bracket. But currently, as of now, they are standing in silver bracket territory.
Yeah, in silver bracket territory right now, what I'm curious to see is how these teams have gone so far. Rule of 4 did play Insomniac Central round 1. It did get swept 3-0, because Insomniac Central, such a strong team in here, coming in as seed number 2. And then in round 2, Rule of 4 did get the win over Splatoon 4. In brackets, we win, I think. Yes, they're a team that I recognize as well. I think, didn't they win Low Ink recently? I think that might have been... They won another tournament, a low-level tournament recently. So definitely a decent contender here in SAC. And then Tidings also in the same boat, winning a 2-1 and then losing 3-0. So both these teams, exact same standing here.
Exact same standing, which means that we're heading into a match where it's a little less certainty knowing that these teams are at about the same level. And just seeing the same results from both of them, we can probably assume that we're going to see a similarly level match as we head into round 3 of the qualifier. So again, lots more on the line for both of these teams as they try to make their way back into a spot for the gold bracket. Again, top 4 teams from each group are going to make their way in, and we're going to see what both of these teams come out with here.
Yeah, they're going to be going into Splat Zones, Mahi Resort. Now, Mahi Resort, Splat Zones, before the water level changes, one of my least favorite maps. After the water level changes, one of my favorite maps.
It's definitely one of the maps where I think a lot can change so quickly. I mean, it's a small map, so it almost forces high octane interactions because there's not much for you to work with. So you almost have to force your way through enemy numbers. You have to force your way through enemy players just to get some map presence here. So Mahi Resort, while it is small, there's a lot that it enables both of these teams to do, which is why I think it's such a heavily favored map in Splat Zones here.
Yeah, and in the break-in, once the water levels have changed, there's a lot of good avenues for these players to get through. There's the islands on the side. You can drop straight into mid and just try to brute force it. You can use the snipe area, or the hoop as some people call it, to get back in. And now these players getting into the match for the first time. Let's take a look at some of these weapons. We're seeing notably a Brella coming out from Kronos on the side of Rule of 4, running the tent. So that's going to be one to look out for definitely here, as they're already walking through mid, getting a cap for Rule of 4, getting some position with that soda. Are going to try to get some picks with a jump out of nowhere coming out from Rain, and that's going to get the pick there.
It was Ryan time them, and maybe it's not now, as Rule of 4 still holds on to the zone here. They got the first dibs at the zone, and like I said, Kronos there with the 10 umbrella. Actually, look at the 10 umbrella. Look how far it's going up there earlier. as we saw from Kronos, it's doing a lot for Rule of 4 actually, as they continue to hold on to the zone. This is Rella. Izuka is actually going to start to come out for Kronos. Does actually sneak past this tower, sneak by this tent, able to get that one pick on Cody there from Tidings. And that is a wipeout actually for Rule of 4.
That is the push that Kronos was looking for about 30 seconds ago when we saw them on the spec cam. Already pushed up and getting Rain again. They're out for Avenges after that jump kill that we saw early on. Rice here in the crab is going to keep some pressure. Less than 10 ticks. Rule 4 about to KO this game just from under the noses of Tidings. And that is a quick win for Rule of 4 here in game 1.
Woo, okay, wow. And as soon as I think I see a 10 umbrella move that far up, there has to be a question of like, okay, what am I about to see? What am I about to see? Because this tent is going up farther than most tents usually do. But that is a very gutsy play. Again, another high risk, high reward play, I think, from Rule of 4 as they take game 1.
Yeah, it can be high risk, high reward, but when you play the weapon a lot, you can start to gauge when it's a good time to go. You know, it's not a blind trust in your shield. It's being able to understand the map around you. And as we saw from that play from Kronos, being able to use that Zuka to get a couple of picks there on the side and then lead your team in after that wipeout, getting your team in a great position to get that KO. And of course, again, we saw Rice on the back line with that splash, having that crab, and we didn't get to see Westy with that pencil, definitely doing some work there, keeping that map painted, giving the team sodas and a great position, is going to put Rule of 4 on a great start against Tidings, but it's not over yet. This is a play all 3. Tidings have a chance to reverse sweep this and get the win here as we go into Rainmaker Museum D'Alfonsino for game 2.
So you mentioned reverse sweeps. The last time we started on a game 1, we started on zones crab leg. That was Royalty versus Chronically Rusty. This is almost a similar situation. Chronically Rusty started off very strong there. We all know how that ended. We want to see how this one ends. It's going to be, like you said, Museum D'Alfonsino. It's going to be Rainmaker. And we're going to see how both of these teams start off with no major comp changes here later.
Yes, no changes on the side of Rule of 4. I'm looking at Tidings just to double check. I don't think I see any major changes. No. So both teams running the same thing that they like to run. Nerd already kind of pushed up here with the roller, trying to see if anyone went for the Rainmaker, but nobody did. But they're going to walk up a little bit, try to get someone out of position. Actually, no, sorry, they were backing up. I was flipped there. It looked like they were going for an aggressive player, actually backing up to their own side as Tidings were the one that were on the offense, keeping this map painted. They're trying to find some picks so that they can get some space onto Rule of 4.
Tidings now are still actually on the back foot. Lumi there almost gets picked off. Ryan there trying to go for a pick that does get one and jumps out in the process. But it's also Nerd here, near the spinner, getting 2 picks here with the crab. Nerd missed another one. Can we get a third? Maybe not. Did fall off just before they were able to get that pick, but it's going to be Rule of 4. Getting a major push here. Wait for these strikes. Rice is going to wait for these strikes. Another triple, by the way, for Rule of 4 as Tidings gets wiped out. Kronos getting the last pick there. Rule of 4 looking very good here.
Getting some deja vu, a wipeout for Rule of 4 as Kronos walks forward with that Brella, trying to cause some mayhem, but the pop did not come out as quick for Rule of 4 as they were hoping. Kronos going down and the team just now getting the Rainmaker, but 2 players down. They have a crab and strikes. The strikes go down, but the crab is out and will get the pick onto Rice. 29 points remaining for Rule of 4. Can they keep this push going? Kronos is going to try to say yes, but no, the double coming out onto Kronos, onto Nerd. 2 players down for Rule of 4, and Tidings looking to break back and get their plat.
Most importantly, 2 players from Rule of 4 still there. Tidings has yet to clear him out. It was that Pretzel from Westy, and now it's Kronos on the 10, still in mid there, as Tidings is able to get this past their own spinner, able to get this down in the mid, and at least able to get it out of their way. But they're still in lots of trouble here. Look at everyone surrounding Lumi. Here's Rice and Nerd. 2 players are going to have to look out for, but it's going to be Nerd, I believe, that gets that pick. Still getting a few more. Ryan goes down, but it's going to be the crowd that trades with him. And Tidings has yet to find a way to pass mid as they see 2 players go down.
Yeah, we saw a potential mid cap from Tidings, but they did get pushed back into their own base with a couple players going down. Nerd pushing up once again on this roller, playing very, very aggressive as we expect from the roller class. Here comes Kronos, though, also kind of walking by themselves, getting one, using that 10 shield as a teammate to give yourself a little bit numbers advantage, but getting picked off. Last one is Westy on this Rainmaker. They're giving jumps to all three of their teammates, just utilizing their strengths as a backliner to apply to this Rainmaker, getting the double kill, trying to show off a little bit for the camera, and with 2 players down, Cody is forced to use the crab, going to probably get that kill with the bombs. No, but they do get the assist for it. Tidings are doing great at holding out the defense in this position, but we need to see them on the offensive.
And there's no better place and time for it than now. They do have one special coming out. That's going to be the Killer Whale. They do get one pick as well. They had some tri-strikes as well, but they weren't able to mount too much. But they do have 3 players down anyway, so maybe it's going to work out after all. Rice is the only player left. Does get picked off before that crab comes out. Nerd and Kronos now. They've been doing most of the work, because Kronos especially for the front lines on rule of 4. Tidings though getting this much closer to getting themselves past, but it's Nerd there with the roller. Sneaks by another bush. Cody here has the ability to take this further. Can they take it further? We're going to find out real soon. They do not actually stop at 33 remaining. It's Nerd once again with the stop.
Yes, Nerd pincering there with Kronos to get that stop, but they're not out of the dangerous waters yet, as there's still only 4 points of running that Rainmaker from the lead. There is the drop. Rice able to grab that Rainmaker and get it out of dodge. Less than a minute left. Tidings need to find another opportunity to push, because they don't need much for a lead, but they're still going to have to find a way in. We've seen how well Rule of 4 can fight. They need to find a way to shut down Kronos and Nerd, and they also need to prevent Rice and Westy from getting set up as well.
30 seconds to go for both teams. Tidings looking for a way back in. Rule of 4 looking to hold him out, and they're doing a fairly good job of that. This is the position of death here for Rule of 4, or for Tidings here. If they can get it up here, that is a very dangerous spot to get out of Tidings, and it keeps the Rainmakers there as Kronos gets picked off by the 52 gal. Not much of a response for Tidings left. Rule of 4 holding on to this very well. All of these drops being covered by Rice in the crab. Christ with the splash also covering it very well there as the game ends, going to the favor of Rule of 4 as they lead the set 2-0.
Yeah, Rule of 4, understanding the scenario they're in, they set themselves up for the highest chance of success, which is put the Rainmaker in a terrible spot, leave it unpopped, and just hold mid. And that is exactly what they did, locking out Tidings from even getting a chance at an overtime push. They will take that set 2-0, but this is a play all 3. We can see Tidings try to get a win here just to kind of pad their stats a little bit, maybe help with some tiebreakers down the road. I do believe both of these teams are currently sitting in contention for silver bracket, if I'm remembering correctly. But either way, you never know how things are going to shake out. There's still another round after this. So Tidings, they still want to have the best scoreline possible, so it's still valuable from the win game 3. Whereas Rule of 4, they are looking to get their first 3-0 of the day.
Right, and it's especially notable how fast we got to these 2-0s, because there's only 2 other teams at 2-0 right now. One of them is Insomniac Central, and the other is Roundabout Fanclub, another strong mid-level team that we had yet to mention on the stream. But Rule of 4, I mean, they have to be the story so far, or they are the story. But most notably, how much Kronos is doing with that 10. I mean, you mentioned it, I think you said it best, using it as an extra teammate, especially with how well they're using that tent shield. It's not something you see from any tent player unless they know a lot about their own tent shield. They've experimented with it a lot, and they know exactly what they want, what they have to do in order to live those fights.
And it kind of goes back to what I talked to during round 2 when we were watching Rusty on the Squeezer. Having that weapon that you've dedicated so much time to is going to do you wonders. As much as there's an argument to be made for having a large weapon pool to understand more about the game, honing in your craft on one specific weapon is going to give you a lot of ability with that weapon. We're seeing Kronos using that 10 shield to shut out the side of Tidings. But now going into game 3, Tidings have a chance to take it back and prove that they are able to step up to Rule of 4 and get a win right here on Clan Blitz Umami.
Umami Ruins is a place to be for these two teams. Rule of 4 looking to close this one out and make it a 3-0 sweep. Tidings looking to at least take one back and make sure they can keep a better record for this. As we see Kronos yet again with this tent. There's 3 players out, 4 wipeout already for Rule of 4 within the first 3 seconds of the matchup here. 7 clams, 8 clams, that's enough for a power clam, and they do eventually bring that one in. And Crab coming out for Rice, Buzz to get trade there. Actually, 3 players already down for Tidings, as I said. Another wipeout for Rule of 4, all within the span of 40 seconds there. Tremendous push here, and a few more clams on the way.
Yeah, we've seen an early wipeout all 3 games from Rule of 4, proving that they are the more aggressive team that can fight out more. I'd like to also highlight again Westy on that pencil, able to hold that hill out for a good while, getting the team down to 30 points remaining. Kronos, though, still kind of just being a distraction, playing like a sploosh right now, really just sitting behind enemy lines, distracting them, making 2 players try to get rid of them. Eventually, they give up on the fight, but now they come back, and the Mind is actually going to get the load up for the pick. Kronos is just playing with Tidings right now, getting a Zuka kill from behind. Somebody get rid of Kronos.
Nobody's getting rid of Kronos just yet, but it's going to be Westy that brings in the power clam. It's 15 clams, 15 points remaining, and now it's 25 remaining. No penalty points online for Rule of 4. Their less barriers means more points on the way, unless Nerd goes down. Nerd does go down. Westy's the only one left, and they're just coming out of spawn, but 25 remaining is a new mark for Rule of 4. Tidings yet to respond.
Yeah, realistically, Rule of 4 could just hold out mid and try to stall this game out with that scoreline, but we know they don't want to. Nerd on the side, getting a pick, then just casually walking back to the team. Tidings need to find a good position here. They have some strikes ready, but they, and unfortunately they do go down, so losing their only special. Rice with the Crab is looking to get a pick, focusing on the ball holder, trying to get rid of Lumi. Unfortunately, they do push them out, not able to get the kill, but Nerd going down to some whales is going to buy Tidings back some space in their own base.
And Tidings has 2 power clams to boot, 2 more specials to boot. This should be a good setup for them all, but there is at least a trade-off there, preventing another number disadvantage for Tidings. They still have 2 picks on the board, but do they know where Kronos is? Do we have an eye on Kronos? Yes, they do. Not able to get the pick off there yet, but Kronos not able to get a pick from themselves. They just the first points from Tidings coming in, but there's only 1 player left, and that's the Crab from Cody. Cody's being forced to back up here. 2 minutes to go. Only 1 power clan comes in, and only 1 player goes out. That's Cody there as well. Kronos able to close that pick, and another one for the 52-gallon side of Tidings. Rule of 4. Yet at the basket, once again.
Kronos getting that ball in, but the tent shield does go down. That's what we want to see from Tidings, focusing on that tent shield, shredding it. Once that tent shield is gone, they don't have anything else to support them. The ball getting thrown, but not going in, so the score will stay at 25, will not go down to a near KO. And 1 player left, though. It's just Cody on that splash. They do manage to trade out, but the basket game double clam. And just like that, Rule of 4 are going to KO and getting a 3-0 sweep over Tidings as much as they tried to fight back.
Wow. Okay, that is a very quick series of events that just took place. And what more is there to say? We talked about Kronos with a 10 enough. I feel like we've talked about Nerd with our roller enough. Just everything coming out from every side of Rule of 4 working so well. And Tidings just no response throughout the rest of that match, which means we are ending with a 3-0 sweep for Rule of 4.
Yeah. And as you said, we talked a lot about Kronos and Nerd, but obviously, like, I'm trying to give some kudos to Westy and Rice. As a support player myself, it's usually a thankless job. It's like we see the spec cam on the tent and we see it on the roller, but what we don't see is that map getting painted by the pencil. We don't see the chip damage coming out. We don't see the constant crabs from Rice. I saw they were running special charge up there, focusing on having that crab. And even on the side of Tidings, they had a similar setup. They have the double support. They have the head it. They have the splash running last-ditch effort, really trying to be that supportive player. Unfortunately for Tidings, Rain and Dark not able to have the offensive pressure that we saw from the side of Rule of 4.
No, not at all. And in fact, Rule of 4 I mean, the quote goes, the best defense is a good offense. And I mean, rule of 4 almost just throws the word defense out of the equation, just says, all right, we're just going to take what you're giving us. You might not know that you're giving us this, but we're going to take it anyway, because it's going to be, we know how to take presence very quickly, and too quickly to the point where you don't know how to respond to it. So we're just going to do that over and over again. And it works out so well for them to the point where they're now 2-1. As of now, they are currently in a position for a gold bracket spot, but Excalibur and Royalty waiting on their matches to end. But, I mean, surprisingly, there's a lot of 3-0 matches on round 3. I'm seeing Mountain Boat Fanclub currently getting a 3-0 against Distinct, and the 12th Arcana getting win against Wildflower, which I believe that's the name, but I don't know. There's a lot of names that I'm currently seeing in the groups. In fact, Unlimited Woomy United is one of those names that I never thought I'd see, or at least one I haven't seen in a long while.
Yeah, as you say, a lot of sweeps already having happened, or some 2-0 scenarios potentially to be a sweep in round 3, which is what you don't expect, once you're at a point where you're playing teams with the same scoreline as you in the Swiss format. Also, one thing I'd like to go back to, you talked about how the best defense is a good offense, and funny enough, with the comp of Rule of 4, they have defense in their offense. They have a tent shield, they have a bubble from the roller, they have defensive utility in their offense baked right into it, and that gave them so much power to be more aggressive, because they brought the defense to the other side of the map, and it gave them so much room to set up and play. And that's exactly what you want to see at this level, is just setting up in the other half of the map, as we're probably seeing in some of these other sets that aren't on stream, as we're seeing all of these sweeps this late in the tournament.
And as speaking of setting up, we are probably going to take a quick little doozy here, a little break, so we can set up the last round of the group stage. It's going to be round 4 of Swiss. Don't go anywhere. On the other side of this break, we're going to get that round shortly. It should be a short break, but we'll find out really soon here. Don't change the channel. We'll be right back with more action from the SAC Season 10 Qualifier number 3.
we don't speak much at all. We don't talk about it all night long. Oh, not long ago, we were one team. Didn't talk about it all night long. Baby, don't you get it? Don't sleep. We're not tired. In our room where we had it all. When I didn't get it, you came to me with a fire. And now we're up against the wall. So don't leave me out of the thunder. You got my number, babe, you got my number. Don't leave me out of the thunder. You got my number, babe, you got my number. So you got my number, babe, you got my number. Baby, don't you get it? We were something to believe in. The love that everybody knew. We're on a narrow street. I'm not leaving until I leave with you. So don't walk in the water. Hold out your hand. Walk to the altar. So don't ya. 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 So you got my number, babe, you got my number.
Welcome back, everybody, to the SAC 10 qualifier number 3. We are here with the last round of Swiss, one last set before me and Nito have to take off. But we've got Manta Boat Fan Club versus Seafoam Reality for our last set here. Manta Boat Fan Club, team that we brought up earlier that we didn't bring them up, and they're a team that I've followed their progress a little bit. I remember commentating them back over a year ago when they were still in Div 6. Now here in SAC, a contender for gold bracket today. If they can win this set, depending on tiebreakers, they will make the gold bracket. So a very important game for them. Seafoam Reality looking to get a win to confirm their placement, I believe, in the silver bracket.
Yeah, it's an interesting comparison between both of the teams and the scenarios they're in, because we have one team just a few steps away from making that gold bracket, and on the other side there's a team that just trying to stay out of bronze bracket and wants to stay in silver. Fortress is looking right at them. Because they know they're just like, they could just very well be one game away from sneaking into silver bracket. But regardless, both of these teams have one more set to go, and this one final set will determine how they move on after the group stage.
Yeah, I believe if either team loses, they're probably guaranteed to go one bracket below what they're fighting for here. So the stakes are on the line in two different scenarios. Going to game one, though, is going to be Splat Zone's Robo Ramen, a personal favorite of mine.
I like maps where you keep things close and personal. We talked about it with Mahi Mahi Zones. Robo Ramen is a similar thing. I like to do Splatoon 2 comparisons. This one's like Muscle Forge, what we saw back then. It's very similar in terms of its geometry and the way the map is shaped. The only difference now is that there's more accessibility to these little flank routes, these sneaky routes that you see. You can also just straight up go all the way to the opposing team's territory. You also have a little cover above, so there's a lot more that Robo Ramen is able to provide here. And I like what it does to enable these interactions to happen in the same way Mahi Mahi Zones does.
And the flank routes here are very dynamic, because not only do you have those ramps on the sides to get up, but every wall is paintable. 360 degrees around that middle of the map. Any player could pop up at any moment if you are not watching the pits around mid. So you really need to make sure that you are being aware. And as you mentioned too, there is that track taking it all the way into the other side's team, their base, and getting behind the backliners. So lots of opportunity to utilize the map shape to your advantage. So it's really going to come down to who can play King of the Hill and who can stay in that zone in the middle of the map.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm looking from what both of these teams have to offer. I know I've seen Manta Boat Fanclub play, and I've seen them play both in Low Ink and in other tournaments around the scene. So from what I've seen from there, they're very conventional when it comes to their comps. There's Johan, who also plays lots of charger weapons, so that's definitely something to expect from Manta Boat Fanclub. It's one of those teams that is already well established, so you can expect a lot to come out from them. But if this is another scenario of one team being very well established and another team being up and coming, but still very much able to prove their own in a match like this, and we're set up for a pretty exciting round 4.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into this round 4. Also, you're talking about Manta Boat Fanclub, but looking at Seafoam Reality's Sendo page, I'm seeing a lot of interesting weapon picks. 5-star L3 nozzle nose. Hearing from that same player, yes. Clara, also having a heavy and also a jet squelcher. LFM bringing in Head and also Rapid Blaster Pro Deco, and then a lot of strong slayers from Jin and Cheaped. We're going to see exactly what they're going to want to bring out here as we load in the match. We're seeing that Rapid Blaster Pro Deco and the nozzle nose, 2 of those weapons, and a lot more conventional picks over from the side of Manta Boat Fanclub.
I love the nozzle nose. It's been such a niche pick that it somehow remains a niche pick for all 3 games, and Splatoon 3 of course is no different. So seeing it come out in competitive is always a fun treat to see what comes out of the people who use it, because we've talked about it earlier, just be some excellence and the skillful ability to play a weapon that you know so well. See how it comes out here as Seafoam Reality able to get first dibs on the tower. Both teams trading picks here. Johan already in a little bit of trouble. It's going to be one of the players from Seafoam Reality providing that pressure. It does go down eventually, but Seafoam Reality still hold on to the zone.
Seafoam Reality are playing a very aggressive game here, pushed up despite what you might think from looking at their comp and even looking at their builds. 2 players inside of Seafoam Reality are using last-ditch effort. So you'd think they'd want to play that defensive long con, but no, pushing all the way through, getting pushed away, then getting back in control of the zone. Seafoam Reality are not letting Manta Boat Fanclub in.
Indeed, it's Manta Boat Fanclub that has to force their way in, and that wipeout is certainly going to help them do so. Manta Fanclub has this opportunity now to take the same positions that Seafoam Reality was taking, perhaps albeit a bit more aggressive just to confirm their way in, but they do actually lose a player there. And while they were popping those tri-strikes, and Clara here with the crab able to help out on painting, but Manta Fanclub covering things well until they don't. They do eventually get some penalty points locked onto their score. Seafoam Reality still hold the lead, but Manta Fanclub have a few more points on the board.
Yeah, they got a couple points, but that's not going to get them much. Again, with that penalty, essentially at 94, so not much progress for them. As Seafoam Reality are once again making this map as blue as possible. Jin here is trying to get a sneaky pick, but Manta Fanclub knew that they were there, trying to flip the zone, but unable to from just the amount of paint that Seafoam Reality can put out just for a little bit there, as they have to regroup and back up here. They do have sodas, but Chief going down. Juice now pushing forward on this. ECAV getting two, letting the team jump in a soda of their own. Do you like orange soda or do you like blue raspberry? Because both teams trying to push up here with soda.
Well, no bias, but I've always been an Orange Crush fan. I've always been a Sunkist fan, so I'll give you that much as we say Manta Fanclub continue to hold on to the zone. There's two more players going out for Seafoam Reality. Manta Fanclub does lose a player, but they are still 3 strong in that zone. Seafoam Reality has yet to come up with a response, but if it's going to be anywhere, it's going to be from these tri-strikes. It might be from this crab as well. They do lose the lead. They do lose the slosher as well. Clara still working to get a few more picks. They do get 2 on the board. Seafoam Reality has more picks to work with. They don't have the lead now, but they're starting to work on these penalty points.
Seafoam Reality have been systematic in the way they've played this game, but Manta Fanclub found a loophole in there, managing to get a lead, and also a pick coming up from Johan as well, just to buy a little bit of space. The soda coming out, Juice now walking up, well juiced up from that soda, trying to get a pick, but unable to as they get mowed down by Cheap on that end zap. Manta Fanclub in control, but Clara with that crab, we've seen how deadly it can be. They have to back up and respect it. Getting pushed away into the corner. Seafoam Reality rushing in, trying to get control of the map, getting some picks, and now once again in the blue.
And we're back to where we were at the beginning of the match, or at least in terms for Seafoam Reality, for both teams really. As we see a Rapid Blast getting up close and personal with Johan there with the Charger, does get the pick there. And now it's Seafoam Reality able to knock down his penalty points. They're not that close to retaking the lead. The question is, will they? Juice is quickly mounting the comeback here. Was it quick enough to get the lead back? No, it is not. They lose Seafoam Reality, though, losing 2 players. That's 3 delayed triple in the process. They do go to 11 remaining. That lead has now been extended into favor of Seafoam Reality, but Manta Fanclub with a minute to go has an opportunity to change things here.
Yeah, they have a chance, less than a minute, but it's still plenty of time. We know how fast Splatoon can be. They can KO in that amount of time. Getting through this penalty, already less than 30 points on that penalty remaining. They need to try to keep a numbers advantage. They can't let Seafoam Reality get in, but here comes Squivit walking forward. And also Clara with the crab. Multiple specials coming in through that zone, just keeping it so much pressure they can't get through it, but strikes of their own. Manta Fanclub fighting back in, and despite the flip, are still in control of the map with 20 seconds left.
20 seconds to go, like he said, and it's still anybody's game, but is it really? Seafoam Reality just lost 2 players. Cheap now, left to fight for themselves. They do at least get the pick on the decaf there. 1 player going down. Clara has the crab. How much is they able to help? We're going to find out. We're going to find out. 3 seconds to go, and it's still very close there. But still in overtime. Seafoam Reality able to flip it back to their own zone, making it 1-0 in their favor.
Great timing from those final specials in the overtime to confirm that win. Seafoam Reality taking game 1, and this goes to show how close these teams are in SAC. We are looking at a team in contention for gold and a team in contention for silver. And you'd think this would be a pretty easy game for Manta Fanclub, but no. Seafoam Reality, the team that's fighting between bronze and silver bracket, able to take game 1.
Unfortunately, in competitive Splatoon, there just doesn't happen to be such a thing as easy. Both of these teams no closer to a walk in the park. The only walk in the park we've seen is from earlier sets, but even then, that was a whole different question in and of itself. Looking into this match, it's nowhere near certain, even after this first set. and especially as we head towards tower control and Hagglefish, I mean, most of these scenes we're able to bring out. It seemed like Seafoam Reality was more than eager to get themselves into the fight, get themselves into the trenches and just start going ham. Manta Boat Fanclub, though, it looks like they were a little more clinical, looked like they were more patient, waiting for those opportunities, knew exactly what they needed to get themselves in.
Which is still interesting to me because, again, looking at Seafoam Reality's comp, I mean, they have a lot of chip, but it doesn't look like they want to be aggressive with that comp, but they were. And again, Squovit, the Rapid Blaster Pro Deco player, and Cheap, the Zap player, both running LDE. I mean, I guess there's an argument for its zones. It's the fastest mode to activate LDE because you're likely to get an early push, or your opponent's likely to get an early push. But it seems like they really wanted to play that grounded, support-heavy comp. But the playstyle said otherwise. We saw players walking forward, aggressive backlines, crabs out the wazoo, and Manta Boat Fanclub, although it was close, they couldn't keep up with it. So here in game 2, they're gonna need to find another way to break in.
And that form of breaking in just might be the stamp coming out from the wiper on the side of Manta Boat Fanclub. Let's go. What a noise that just came out of my mouth as I was talking about the wiper from Juice from Manta Boat Fanclub. That should be the push they needed to get themselves, or find a way in rather, as that splasher goes down from the side of Seafoam Reality. Manta Boat Fanclub currently holding a numbers advantage.
Yeah, that is exactly what they want to do in the opening, is get that numbers advantage. But Clara flanking with a crab after 20 seconds have elapsed. This is what I'm talking about from Seafoam Reality. They are breaking expectations with what they brought to the table, but it doesn't get them as much value as they're looking for. 30 seconds in, Manta Boat Fanclub have gotten a wipeout. 3 specials ready to go, approaching checkpoint 1. Nito, Seafoam Reality got to break back in here.
And these 2 checkpoints that are hardest for anyone to break out of, especially on Hagglefish, because of where they're placed. And if those 2 specials were of any help, and they're certainly not of any help right now because of how much they have lost in these last few moments. They did get past checkpoint 1, so that's going to be some help to them. But Manta Boat Fanclub currently stalled out by Seafoam Reality. They got up to 61 remaining. That second checkpoint is going to be even more difficult for Manta Boat Fanclub, and if Seafoam Reality is able to stop them on their tracks, then we might be expecting something better for Seafoam Reality, but Manta Boat Fanclub continues to take turns on the tower.
Yes, they are going to continue to touch that tower. And Johan set up on the side of Manta Boat Fanclub, not letting Seafoam Reality get any space. But with the whales and the strikes, gonna actually get the map a little bit more yellow, little bit more room for Seafoam Reality to breathe. But Manta Boat Fanclub aren't gonna back down without a fight. 3 members walking forward with the sodas. Juice on that flank, coming in for a bit of a back. Oh no, actually getting picked off. Cheap able to get the solo kill onto the hammer and doing a flank of their own, pushing all of Manta Boat Fanclub to the right side of the map. But Juice is going to be back with that hammer. I believe they did die with soda, or at least painted just fast enough to get it ready. But once again, going down to Cheap twice in a row.
It almost seems like Seafoam Reality is trying everything in the book here. I mean, you have Clara going to the side. You have the Zap trying to go off to the side there. Gets a few picks as well. Actually able to get that stamp cancel. And that's impressive. But Manta Boat Fanclub always on top of things. They're always finding this pick seemingly out of nowhere, seemingly off camera. We don't have our eyes on them because it just seems to happen everywhere on the map. So Seafoam Reality has the means of getting themselves in. They just don't have it for that long enough, or they don't have it long enough for them to capitalize.
Yeah, and they need to capitalize here. They need to find a way to really get past Manta Boat Fanclub. They are able to take game 1. It put them in a position to win this set, but already on the ropes this entire game so far. Not a lot of points on the board for them, where Manta Boat Fanclub are pursuing this push, getting more and more points as time goes on. The persistence is starting to show up in Seafoam Reality. Down 2 checkpoints already, looking for a way to prevent this last checkpoint from getting broken. Moon throwing those strikes to clear out the tower, buying Manta Boat even more space than they already have. And we're looking at a KO here, Nito.
These are GG strikes? Yes, they are. Manta Boat Fanclub doesn't even need those extra jumps because they are now 1-1 in the set, and game 3 looking more decisive than ever. Sorry, not decisive. Looking more interesting than ever before. I mean, we talked about the positions most of these teams are in terms of bracket placements, but Game 3 currently tied, both teams tied, and how back and forth these teams have been, especially in Game 1. Game 2 seemed to be more, it actually didn't even just seem to be, it was more in favor of Manta Boat Fanclub.
Yeah, it was definitely in their favor, obviously, as they're able to get that win. And it seems like Seafoam Reality played the same game they played in Game 1. But what it felt like is that Manta Boat Fanclub understood the assignment. They knew how Seafoam Reality were going to play based on Game 1, and they adapted to it so that even though Seafoam Reality did the same thing, it didn't garner them any value. They were able to shut down those highly aggressive plays from these supportive weapons and prevent a conversion from the usage of what they have on their comp to actually getting a push and getting points. They got 8 points in tower control, which means you touched the tower for a half a second and immediately had to run away. So as much as the fights didn't seem like there was dominance from Manta Boat Fanclub, this score line shows the dominance from Manta Boat Fanclub.
Right, and that's something I mentioned in Game 2. It seems like Seafoam Reality knows how to get on the nerves of Manta Boat Fanclub. I mean, they're sending people left and right. Clara with the grab. It's going to be the zap. It's going to be people you don't usually expect, but also people you probably should be expecting. And that's what working out well for Seafoam Reality. What's not working well is the fact that all of a sudden they do lose another player in a fight elsewhere where they're not able to support one another. And that's what's holding them. That's what actually held them back in that tower control match. So finding a way to at least keep each other together, make sure everyone is aware of where they're going, which I'm sure is something that's being done. Just needs to make sure that they're all within helping range of one another as we head into Game 3. A crucial Game 3 for both of these teams.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, the stakes, both these teams, this match is going to be crucial into getting into the bracket that they are trying to get into respectively. So it's going to be an important game. Both teams showing that they can win against each other. It's really going to come down to, can Seafoam Reality continue to apply pressure and annoy Manta Boat Fanclub, or has Manta Boat Fanclub found the solution to Seafoam Reality's playstyle and are going to take this game?
Well, Seafoam Reality is going to get any help. It's certainly going to be Clara from this grab, was able to at least get some damage on these players. Not necessarily a pick, but there is some help on that side there. But there is another player, 2 players rather, going down from Seafoam Reality. They're quickly collapsing on these 2 left from Manta Boat Fanclub. Seafoam Reality will get the first take on the Rainmaker here, and they're going to go through this left side here. Juice setting up a stamp, has the stamp ready, able to get at least 1 pick. That is the Slosher from Seafoam Reality going down. Will it be the Rainmaker going down? That was very close, but no dice there as Seafoam Reality holds on.
Unfortunately for Seafoam Reality, they hesitated to pick up the Rainmaker. They wanted Squovet to go back and pick up the Rainmaker despite being pushed up, and the player back with the Rainmaker was either Clara or Chief, I'm not quite sure, one of the 2 shooters, didn't pick up. And that ultimately gave Manta Boat Fanclub enough time to get back together and get on the defense. So you're going to need to be a little bit quicker with that. Maybe not make the optimal play, but make the faster play when you get yourself in that position. Manta Boat Fanclub, though, on a counter push of their own, they do go down while striking. Johan not able to get all those out. But Juice with the hammer is going to get 1. Can they get 2? Yes, they do. Pushing in already behind. Cheap looking for a 3rd, unable to get the value. A delayed wipe onto Manta Boat Fanclub. Johan is back on the defense.
And Seafoam Reality looking better than ever here. Can they finally get it towards this pedestal is going to be the next question. They do have some tri-strikes to at least help along with this. When will they come out? They will come out right now. A few more points should be on the table for Seafoam Reality. Is the pedestal on this table? Maybe not, and it isn't. Seafoam Reality gets 2 players down. It's going to be the Slosher here. Certainly a big help for Manta Boat Fanclub as they prevent that Rainmaker from touching that pedestal. Manta Boat Fanclub still holding strong here, but for how long is going to be the question, as that Crab able to get a pick from Seafoam Reality on a Manta Boat Fanclub. Few more picks coming out from both teams, but Seafoam Reality takes care of this pedestal. Oh, hold on there. What a play there.
The double kill with the pop from Juice, using that hammer to get rid of those players and trading out for a triple, making sure the Manta Boat Fanclub have all the space in the world, opting to let the Rainmaker reset rather than grab it. It's a decision that's still going to work out in their favor because they do have control of the map, but it will be a little bit slower of a push. They're going to need to get another numbers advantage, but the crab from Clara getting one, pushing the Rainmaker into a corner. They can't move left, they can't move right, but the crab will time out and give them another chance at life.
And there is the chance taken away very quickly, as fast as it was given. 3 players down now for Vanderbilt Fanclub, a delayed wipe now for the favor of Seafoam Reality. That Rainmaker is going to be left there, but they're going to pick it up. Cheap is going to go ahead and pick that one up, I believe. Yes, it is. As we see how they're positioned out in the rest on this match, they actually don't pick up the Rainmaker yet. And they know they don't have to pick it up. There's actually a minute 30. I can't believe there's a minute 30 left in this match.
Yeah, it seems like it's been a back and forth eternal fight. Cheap already on the Rainmaker though. It opted to not grab it, let it reset, then grab it and go for a cheeky push on the right. It's very interesting to see how both of these teams are playing with the Rainmaker. It seems like there's a hesitancy to really grab it and get a push, which for Manta Fanclub, they're going to need to make a push because they're only 10 points in, and they got to get all the way down to 25 remaining if they want to get the win here. A minute left in the match. They are walking up. They will get the checkpoint. The first opportunity of this game for Manta Fanclub with a minute left, but one opportunity is all you need if you can get all the way into the lead.
And can they get into the lead is going to be the next question. The answer we'll find out very soon here, as it's going to be the slosher from Seafoam from Manta Fanclub getting that Rainmaker, but does get it taken away by a tri-strike from Seafoam Reality. 2 players already going down. Both of these teams trading picks left and right, back and forth. Juice could be the next one to trade there, but doesn't trade. It's actually going to go down. Seafoam Reality able to get the pick there. It's just a slosher from Manta Fanclub that goes down as well. Seafoam Reality holding on for dear life to that zone. Not to the zone, the lead, it seemed, as we head into 20 seconds left.
But the Rainmaker is pop is resetting. Clara, you have to pick it up. Don't let it go back to mid. No, that's going to be an opportunity now for Manta Fanclub. They now have the Rainmaker in their possession. Seafoam Reality have to hold the defense. If they get picked off, they're going to give Manta Fanclub a free opportunity to get a win here, but it's overtime. Rainmaker cannot go down. It is all up to this last push from Manta Fanclub, but they can find a way in. Squovit popping the whale. All 4 members of Seafoam Reality rushing in, just doing a blitz onto the Rainmaker. Johan staying alive, managing to get the numbers advantage, but they're out of time. The time is ticking down. You have 20 seconds left. You have to start walking now, Johan.
You don't have much time on the clock. There's actually less than half of overtime left. Juice, what can you do? Johan, what can you do? You have 10 seconds left. Can we get this towards the lead? You have no choice. You have to try to make it, but can you make it? No, with 2 players flat down, it's going to be even more difficult. With 1 player left, it's going to be even more difficult. And it's difficult enough to where Seafoam Reality closes it out and wins the 4th set on a 2-1 score.
I questioned the final play from Seafoam Reality there to let the Rainmaker reset. It didn't seem like anyone, it happened that whole game. It seemed like nobody wanted to pick up the Rainmaker. Nobody wanted that responsibility. But despite what seemed like a misplay, it still worked in their favor. They had a strong enough defense, and I liked when they all went in. All 4 of them, they said, okay, this is our opportunity, we go now, and the whole team rushed. Even though Manta Fanclub was able to stave off that push and start getting in, there was less than 20 seconds left. There was no time to physically get a lead, and that is what Seafoam Reality wanted to do, ultimately winning them the set.
Interestingly, with that win, they are 2-2 on the record, and they actually will move on to the gold bracket due to what I believe are tiebreakers. Yeah, they are ahead of Distinct on opponent win percentage. They of course get the win, or Manta Fanclub just out of beating them. So that means they will move on to the gold bracket, joining the likes of $6 Cops, Cloud Ensemble, and Unlimited Woomy United, a name I haven't heard in a while. My goodness, but that is going to be Manta Fanclub staying put in silver bracket right behind Distinct. But I mean, that is one heck of a matchup. Whether you saw those decisions as a good or as a good one or a slightly questionable one, the word was that ultimately ended up working in the favor of Seafoam Reality. There were a lot of questions to be made, sure, and honestly, I do have some, but that was one heck of a match either way for both of these teams, and I love seeing that back and forth stuff go on from both of them. So kudos to both teams as we head towards the brackets.
Yes, a huge win, I'd say, for Seafoam Reality. Again, on the brink of going to bronze bracket, the lowest bracket you can get, to clutching out the fourth placement, getting them into gold bracket from group B in this qualifier. So much higher stakes than we were even fully aware of. I didn't think that the tiebreakers could work out like that, but Manta Boat Fan Club had enough behind them to really give them those extra points in the tiebreaker for getting that win. So Manta Boat Fan Club, though, looking strong, going to that silver bracket, gonna cause some mayhem there, but Seafoam Reality with an opportunity to fight the other 7 teams in gold today. Unfortunately, though, me and Nito won't be the ones who will get to show you that action, as we are going to be switching out for 2 new commentators as we go into the bracket stage. We're going to have... I already forgot which commentators we're seeing next, as I forgot to open up that part of my screen. Rissa and Fufu are going to be bringing you 2 lovely ladies. I am a huge fan of both of them. I am going to be watching that simultaneously, some other stuff on both these monitors. So don't go anywhere. We're going to have more Splatoon action for you soon. But first, Nito, where can the lovely viewers find you?
Good question. You could try by looking up nitoandused.bluesky.social. You could try looking up Nito and Used on Twitch, and a rare occasion that I do stream. And if you want to try looking for me, I probably have chores to do, but I won't be doing them.
I will also be avoiding some chores today. I have a big pile of laundry slightly under the frame of the camera. You guys can't see. But yes, I am Hammy. You can find me anywhere on the internet at Hammy in the Wall. But most actively, you can find me right down here, hitw.inc on Blue Sky. Or if you just go to that URL, you'll find me there anyway. Thank you all for watching. Once again, don't go anywhere. We have more action coming up soon. The bracket stage of the SAC qualifier number 3. Thank you, Ellie and production, for having us on and also playing Overcooked for us. Now, don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to be back very, very soon with some more Splatoon action.
Hello. Whoa! Okay, so you see a stream of sorry, you guys are seeing my alter ego. I'm dying a little bit. This is awesome. Hey, welcome back to SAC. We have quarter semis ready for you guys here. We have our teams up and ready. I am Fufu. I am joined by the lovely Rissa. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. I feel like the energy of your camera is already just setting the mood for how this is gonna go, which is not bad at all.
Oh no!
There you are! Yay!
We are real.
We are real. Okay, so deep breath for me. Okay, so like Fufu said, we're gonna be going into the gold bracket since we just went through the rounds here on the streams. If you guys were watching, and we are gonna be watching first and foremost. Team called Clown Ensemble versus StarZ Impact. And I personally am not too familiar with a lot of these players. Do you know any of these players by chance, Fufu?
Not quite. Clown Ensemble sounds like a fun name. I can't even lie. I feel like this is going to be whimsical just based off the names alone, in my opinion. StarZ Impact, I've casted maybe once. I don't have too much memory. Gone. But I'm pretty sure they were phenomenal because they made their way here. So what I'm saying is this is probably going to be a good set.
Right. They made it all the way to the gold bracket. You know, they're doing good, you know. Yeah.
They're very
and
good.
I was watching a little bit of this beforehand, you know, just trying to get a feel for how the teams are today. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like every tournament as of recently, sometimes teams play a little bit slower. Sometimes it's just like a tournament where everyone's playing really fast. So as we head into the gold bracket now, with these teams being the teams that have made it this far and are clearly like the top teams of today's tournament, I'm curious because it seemed like so far what I was watching today, teams were playing a little bit slower, but we'll have to see going into this. And the teams are already in the room. They were in the room before we were. They were ready to go. So we'll get to see here, you know, how these teams are playing today. What's the vibe? Are we playing fast? Are we playing slow? Is it a mix of everything? We're headed straight in here, game one.
I think we might just have a fast game on our hand just based off the weapons that I'm seeing. I've already seen the brush, and look at that! We have 2 people out of the field already. When I say this fast, this 15 seconds they meant it right here. With Cloud Ensemble taking 2 down and StarZ Impact looking to take the zone here. I think we have some flanks from the behind though, and some chumps to call for that. Cloud Ensemble looking to try and turn the tides here already at the start of the game. This is already a really energetic start here. Oh my goodness.
It is quite the energetic start. Members are going down left and right, and you can see the score is very even right now, as now the lead is switching over to Clown Ensemble. But as Clown Ensemble does get the lead there, they do swap that. I love that StarZ Impact had their specials ready. They were ready to come right back into the action and take the zone, and now they themselves are about to get the lead here just as they do.
we're doing some flipping and we're doing some flopping here. As you know, it's only been a minute, and I think we've seen like at least like 5 zone caps at this point. I think we are seeing damage. Bring out this trap tape, looking to take a pick out. Nightmare barely being able to get out of the field, but StarZ Impact is still counting down points on the zone. Members are starting to be picked off on each side, and with the zone neutralizes, Ensemble going to be able to cap this. Yes, they are able to apply a nice penalty and a double. Maybe triple. That is going to be great down on StarZ Impact.
Yeah, this seems so back and forth so far. Both of these teams, once they get down, they're right back into the action. They make sure they get their specials ready. And it seems like the thing that's helping both of these teams, okay, talk about Zipcaster just coming into their base. I was talking about how they're going to get their specials ready, come back in the action, and then this Zipcaster just pops out of nowhere. Xyler here just popping off and making sure they do not get their specials. But anyways, yeah, both of these teams making sure they get their specials right away, so that way they make sure they can play off of those and get back in the zone.
Yeah, absolutely. Xyler, what is Xyler on? Because Xyler has been literally snooping everywhere and getting picked, and I think it's just doing Cloud Ensemble so many favors right now because they are quite literally looking at a potential knockout. That is 2 down on StarZ's Impact, and with one person trying to get themselves in the zone, is it going to be enough to really neutralize it before the rest of the team gets there? No! Cloud Ensemble able to take game 1.
It seemed so back and forth initially, and then once Clown Ensemble was able to set up Xyler, it seemed like it just absolutely spiraled from there, and we got to see a lot of that from Xyler's point of view, where they were able to utilize their Zipcaster, they were able to just like come back in the zone and help their teammates take down other members that were trying to get from the other team that were getting to the zone. And that happened, I feel like, so fast that I didn't really get to analyze a lot of what Xyler's teammates were doing to help them too. So I'm interested to see that as we move forward through this set.
We blinked and the game was over. Like,
right.
It was over. No, it was very fun to see the spotlight show up as well. I love it. And looking at our next map, though, I feel like Xyler's going to have another fun one, especially considering it's Manta Maria Rainmaker. There's a lot of ledges here to capitalize off. And I don't think StarZ Impact had really, like, something that shoots over ledges, so something like a slosher or anything. So I'm curious if they're going to be swapping anything over as we enter Manta Maria.
Yeah, that's a good question. It seemed like they just kind of had a lot of shooters, and then those shooters couldn't necessarily deal with the ledges that the Octobrush was able to get onto, deal with the range that the Octobrush had as well. So maybe too, from them, they might be able to switch over to some either longer range weapons or, like you said, a machine, a slosher. I don't know, something that will be able to help them get over those ledges and maybe not approach the brush so close.
Yeah, but it's like Manta Maria is definitely a map where you want something to take care of those ledges, because if you don't, it's going to be really tough to really clear a lot of the spaces that other players can sneak into. So I will, like, Cloud Ensemble is playing within their turf here, considering the weapons. They had the machine, they had the Octobrush, so they're basically on home turf. They're where they want to be on this map.
And the other thing about Manta Maria Rainmaker, I feel like I don't necessarily see it played a lot in comp as of recent-ish, but like it can be so snowbally once you get past that first checkpoint. Everything can just spiral if you are not watching those ledges and they're able to get past that. So considering how in that first game Clown Ensemble was able to get their momentum going, I could see them doing that again here, but hopefully StarZ Impact has something to counter that, so that way they don't have that happen really fast for Rainmaker here.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's Rainmaker too. Oh buddy, it's gonna be speed if anything. Oh, that fish, the golden fish, does numbers.
It does, and especially too, since once you get past the first checkpoint, you can just like jump right down to the other checkpoint, and it's just, I feel like I have nightmares for playing from this map and mode, especially from Splatoon 2, where all of a sudden Stingray comes out of nowhere, and you're just like trying to get to the checkpoint, to the last Rainmaker spot. It's, I got some flashbacks here going.
I was a Stingray user. I was part of the problem. Look at it, Umbrella. Damage is taking Umbrella out.
Interesting. Okay. So taking a look at this. I'm assessing what's going on here. It seems like too for StarZ Impact, they haven't really switched up much of their comp. They're sticking with those shooters that we saw from that first match. So maybe they're just like, hey, these are the weapons we're super comfortable with. Okay, and they are initially here getting the upper hand as they're taking down members of Clown Ensemble, but maybe they're just comfortable with their weapons, and it looks like so far it's working out very well for them as they're able to get to the first checkpoint.
Absolutely. A really quick check here, as that's just within the first minute, 45 seconds even, one would say right here. EQ in a little bit of a tricky position, having to force pop Booyah in order to stay alive here. But once again, that checkpoint is down, ready, and StarZ Impact is looking to try and get it themselves forward here. Seeing the Zuka, seeing the crab, everything okay, everything was at that Rainmaker, but it looks like StarZ Impact just continues to be in a really good position as members of Cloud Ensemble continue to go down, and this Rainmaker is right in their hand and moving left.
Ooh, yeah, I initially wait. Maybe they're just doing a fake out. It looks like they are. Okay, they faked me out as the commentator. I thought they were going to go left, and then it looks like they kind of were baiting everyone on the other team to go left. Able to take the Rainmaker really quick right and get their score all the way down to 12. So even though that wasn't necessarily a knockout, they were able to get their score down to 12, and they are still putting a lot of pressure onto Clown Ensemble and not really letting them out of their spawn.
Yeah, I guess the weapons aren't as important as the execution, as StarZ Impact quickly proved me wrong on my earlier comment. They are just continuing to be a nuisance nightmare. Just continues to be a pain in the side as Loomis is just going to quickly try and get this Rainmaker in the pedestal. The machine unable to reach just by a smidge, and that is a knockout for StarZ Impact.
Oh my gosh, what a complete flip around compared to that first game. I mean, there was definitely a lot of back and forth from the first game, and eventually one team got the upper hand. But I mean, this one, it seemed like StarZ Impact really, I don't know if they like either felt comfortable on this map and mode, they just had a game plan already, or they talked about, hey, let's do X, Y, and Z a little bit differently to make this work for us. And then I also think too, StarZ had a Dualies on their team, and that seems like a scary matchup against the other team, Clown Ensemble, having a Brella. It felt like I kept seeing the Dualies kind of just rolling around the Brella, and the Brella was like, what do I do?
It's like at that point you're having your skirmishes talk to each other instead of getting the opportunity to distract the rest of the members. So I think that was also like a big kicker with the Brella coming into play. But really, no, StarZ Impact was like, yeah, we're gonna swap the tides real quick. I felt like they were actually in the home turf. The weapons just didn't matter here. They said, great, our execution is just, I don't know, they moved like if they knew the map like the back of their hand. I think that was awesome, honestly. I was like, whoa, okay, 0 to 100 real quick. Absolute cinema.
I agree. They like seemed like they were like, yep, we know what to do here, here, and here. At this point in the map, okay, easy, we're done. I don't know for sure if the teams know the maps and modes ahead of time, like they're able to practice for this. Okay, they do, confirmed in our ears here. So that I always love that, because like for Ludi or this per se, you get to go into scrims before you're gonna play in the actual tournament and figure out your game plan and figure out those maps and modes that you're comfortable on. So this could have definitely been one of those maps and modes for StarZ Impact that they were comfortable on.
It's Manta Maria is always just such a coin flip. It's either that is one of your best maps, or this one, we hate Manta Maria in this house. Yeah. Me, I'm a Charger player, so of course I don't like Manta Maria. But this isn't about Manta Maria anymore, because we have Scorchers Clan Blitz next, which is only slightly better, I would say.
Only slightly better, I agree. A little bit. This one, you know, a lot bigger open map compared to Manta Maria like we just played, but considering how Clown Ensemble switched up their comp, like, kind of a decent amount there, compared from game 1 and game 2, I'm interested what they're going to be playing here as we head into game 3.
Absolutely, and we're going back to dualies. We're going back to dualies on the side of Clown Ensemble, and we're sticking to our guns here on the side of StarZ Impact. You know, don't fix it if it ain't broke. And once again, I'm expecting a speedy game as we saw those last 2 games, because just once again, these comps and these players have shown speed is the name of the game here. If you can knock out faster, they can't win.
Right, exactly. they can't even think about trying to figure out to set up because we're just going to play faster than them. And speaking of that, Clown Ensemble here being the team that's going to initially get that upper hand, they are not even hesitating. They took mid and now they are pushing into StarZ Impact's side of the base. So a lot of chaos ensuing here as both teams are, look at this, it's even here. Both teams are taking down members on each side as, okay, now StarZ Impact said, hey, you guys are over in our spawn, we're just gonna run over to your side and score, no big deal.
Biggie. If I had a nickel for every time within 40 seconds we saw a score push, I'd have 2 nickels in this set. 2 nickels. Because like, okay, no, the turnaround, this is like a mirror of the first match right here. Zyler, once again, is there to be a menace. Everyone's being a menace. We saw a side flop from the back between the flanks. Everything is happening.
Everything is happening, oh my goodness. And you can see too with Zyler being set up, I was trying to, you know, as the way these two teams have been playing is just so fast, I was trying to assess how Zyler's teammates set up around them, and it looks like they were doing a really good job at that. I saw them set up in the other side in the spawn, trying to poke at where that Zipcaster would be, but they did get shut down here, and now it is StarZ Impact's turn to take mid once again. And as they do take mid, you can see they're getting jump-ins, they're making sure they call out where members of the other team are, and they're making sure, look at that, I think that was maybe even a 3v1. They're just making sure they play together so well here.
Absolutely, and Xiphias just coming in with a gal, just absolutely throwing hands. It was able to take 2-0, which is stalling so much time for StarZ Impact right there to get those clams on the board. They're able to bring that score down to 50, but you know, we've been seeing the speed throughout all this. Whether they're going to be able to hold this is going to be a big old question mark, considering Clown Ensemble is already turning their base orange. Nope, there's still clams in here, I guess.
Okay, so we have Zyler trying to lead the charge here with that Octobrush, and they did get called out. Maybe they should have waited for a teammate to get up there and help them. And it looks like the other team was recognizing, okay, we need to shoot at that Octobrush a little bit further back, make sure that we don't get in the range of that Octobrush's path. And now StarZ Impact here taking mid once again. They're doing a great job at continuing to make sure they get mid back while Clown Ensemble is scrambling, trying to figure out how to get into their spawn.
I feel like it's just been just a flip-flop of each of the teams trying to force the other team to play at their speed, play at their tempo, play their game right here. And right now, it looks like Clown Ensemble is winning this mini war. Never mind, that is going to be 3 down on Clown Ensemble. Only able to get 1 clam on the maybe a second. 1 question mark? Nope, just 1 clam on the board here as they get picked off once more.
Yeah, and you can see I think that's Damage, is that their name? They were able to jump in, was trying to make a quick play with that dualies, and they could have definitely made that happen, but they were called out. It just seems like StarZ Impact, they're making sure they play together super well and make sure they call out things together, make sure they're grouped up together, and Clown Ensemble's having a really hard time playing against that. Clown Ensemble is going to have to figure out how to group up their specials and play together. It just seems like here, you see it was a 3v1 versus Zyler. They're just making sure that they're calling out anyone they see and not letting them approach.
Yeah, I think this is just a case example of just the adaptations that we see as we play through sets right here, because StarZ Impact has found a ground of stabilization and it's just picking Clown Ensemble just basically 1 by 1 as they are trying to force opportunities, especially considering there's a minute left and the stakes are only getting higher with the points 1 and 1. It's Clown Ensemble really has to find a way to stabilize those or find something to really get themselves in. They need these points if they want to win the game.
They do. There's only 45 seconds remaining of this, and they have, what is that, about a 40 point difference. And if they want to make something happen, this is going to be their chance. They are able to take down 3 members of StarZ Impact, with Zyler leading the charge with that Zipcaster, able to take down 1 member. Watching that jump in 2, was trying to take down another member, and as there is a jump in coming in from Clown Ensemble, they weren't quite able to score in that power climb. This could be the end of the road for them, as there's only about 10 seconds remaining here.
Well, they don't have a pity anymore. They used their pity on that jump. So they have essentially 5 seconds to try and make a power clamp, but whether they're going to be able to do that with the limited, not only paint, no, it's not enough. Just not enough paint and not enough clams right there. StarZ Impact taking the set at a 2-1 score.
Wow, that was that was a really, really good set. It was super close. We got to see, like you said, in the middle of that, the way that adaptations can really be in your favor. And that was really cool to see for that set.
Absolutely. It's so interesting because at this level we are like, it's crazy because they're adapting by one game at a time. StarZ in fact was like, wait, they're just going and call it out from there and called it a day. And it's fascinating. It's just like you don't feel like you should be adapting this fast, but then you are, and it just all falls into place. But StarZ in fact will be continuing on through the bracket. Methinks.
Yes, StarZ Impact will be continuing on through the bracket. It looks like I have the bracket up here. As they head into semis, they will be facing Seafoam. Hold on. Seafoam Reality is who they are going to be playing next. And then on the other side of the bracket, this is the gold bracket too, for those who are watching or maybe just tuning in. It's Unlimited Woomy United versus $6 comps playing on the other side of the bracket. So they're going to be seeing whoever wins each of these will then be playing each other. So we'll have to see what happens coming up for that.
Absolutely. So it looks like we have some exciting sets coming up, methinks. So we are following $6 comps actually. I'm looking down below and I believe if those are set in stone. I want to say those might be the teams that I know those guys. I've seen $6 comps before. There's a homie on there.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
I have. Expect some Carbon Gaming if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, love that. That's funny because I'm actually I'm not familiar with $6 comps, but I am familiar with Unlimited Woomy United, so it's like it's cool that
we can't be biased. We can't be biased. No. No. Our biases would even each other out.
Yeah, that's true. So it's like we're watching sports teams right now, like up against each other.
Yeah. It's really just that serious. It's that serious.
It is. It is.
You're reminding me to get water. I'm like, wait. Hydrate. Stay hydrated.
Exclamation mark. Hydrate. I don't know.
Bro, we need one. Drown our casters in water. We got like just a hydrate redeem. And it's just like our streamer just telling us in our ear, they hydrated, drink water mid-set right now. Drown.
Yeah. We got donated $100. You need to hydrate now, even though there's only 45 seconds remaining of this game.
Exactly. Yeah. Who needs to see this like game 5 tiebreaker anyways,
Right.
We're drinking water.
Right. Priorities.
Exactly. Priority. You get it. Well, I gotta go. I gotta. Oh, yeah. Namin still put. Yeah, this is gonna be a good set. I think this is gonna be a good set.
I think it is too. So for those watching here, of course, it's gonna be $6 comps versus Unlimited Woomy United. And this is as we head into this portion of the bracket, headed into semifinals. Previously on the stream, we were watching best of 3 sets, and now we are going to be headed into the best of 5 sets. So there's going to be a little bit more wiggle room for teams to do that adaptation that we previously just saw and figure out how to play against each other as we could potentially go all the way to a game 5.
Absolutely, and it seems that this is actually a run back of groups round 4, where Unlimited Woomy United actually took down $6 comps earlier in the bracket, or earlier in groups, excuse me. So this is a run back. $6 comps has a chance to possibly take this back, but Unlimited Woomy United did have that upper hand from last time.
Ah, okay. I very much enjoy watching when this happens because sometimes the team that lost, they have that time to play more warm up and figure out how to play with each other that day. I feel like every day's synergy is a little bit different when you're playing with your team or that group that you're playing with. So now they know how Unlimited Woomy United is going to be playing and knowing what comps they're going to be playing and what play style they have. So they maybe got that time to figure out, okay, we need to work on doing X, Y, and Z now since we already know how this team is playing today. That can be very, very helpful in tournament settings.
It's also just like the extra tension on top of that. Like this is like a small in-bracket rivalry forming. If both teams are feeling rivalry, you know, then it's gonna be tense and it's gonna be just a lot more fun, I think, especially considering the stakes are a lot higher than what they were in groups. Oh, and we're on the 30-second paint zone map right here. We're gonna be starting off at Hagglefish Market Zones, my beloved and hated at the same time.
This is the classic Splatoon 3 zones map, I feel like. And it's interesting watching this map and mode throughout the entirety of Splatoon 3's career, just all the different ways people try and play it. And I feel like it always just comes down to, okay, Zuka Crab, sit back. That's what this map and mode is. I don't know.
It really is stall or knockout. Those are your two options on Hagglefish Market. I've seen zones held in neutral for 30 seconds. Like, yeah, what is this map? It's the hallway TM, but it is our hallway. It is our beloved hallway because it has never left the map pools.
It really hasn't. Ever since literally the day one of this game, it's been here from the beginning. All right, and we are starting out here, and excuse me, Fufu, how many rollers are on the screen?
Way too many, honestly. It looks like 4. We have different flavors of rollers because we have the Dynamo and Carbon, which I wouldn't have expected to see. Are those glueless? Oh, this is like the match of off meta. Oh, I'm so excited. Wait. This is gonna be fun.
I know, I'm so used to not commentating weapons like this, and there's so many of them, so this is going to be very, very fun. It's not going to be that Zuka crab splash, you know, typically that we see on this map and mode. And right now, initially here, Unlimited Woomy United is going to be the team that is taking back the zone from $6 comp. $6 comp's able to get their score down to 78. And you can see Unlimited Woomy United, they can't push up too far. They're playing this pretty carefully as they're trying to get back to the zone to paint it for themselves.
Especially considering that, no, that was unfortunate. Especially considering that $6 comps has not gotten a penalty on the zone yet. Unlimited Woomy United actually did not manage to cap the zone during that long neutral right here. But yeah, $6 comps continues to hold over the zone here as it's just everyone's fighting it in mid. This is like the brawl of all time. This is like if Splatoon had team deathmatch, the game.
Literally. Oh my gosh, it seems like that throughout the beginning of that, Unlimited Woomy United had the majority of the map control, but $6 comps just kept jumping in and jumping in and jumping in and jumping in and not letting them paint over the zone at all, even though Unlimited Woomy United had majority of that map control. Finally, though, Unlimited Woomy United able to take the zone back. They get that ink back, helping them push forward, and now they're able to take 3 members of $6 comps. This could be that opportunity that they needed as they, oh my gosh, so many specials coming out in the other team's spawn, and this could potentially be what you were saying earlier, that lockout situation. As you can see, they are setting up in $6 comp spawn.
Yeah, they set up super quickly too right here. They were on the back foot for a good chunk of the game as well. So just seeing how fast they were able to get themselves into $6 comp space was really impressive. But that's going to be a wipeout, leading $6 comps to change the zone back in their favor. 4 points away from that lead swap right now. And they're ready to give them a taste of their own medicine, opting not to get nearly as far in as Unlimited Woomy United did just a second ago, but opting to kind of play the safe and let them walk into them.
Yeah, good point to bring up there. They didn't necessarily push up too far into their base, but they're still making sure they're trying to keep a lot of pressure under these ledges. However, Unlimited Woomy United seems like they finally got their footing on board here as they're able to take down essentially a complete wipe onto $6 comps. Now let's see if Unlimited Woomy United pushes up as far as they did last time. You can see they're trying to get a feel for how they want to push up, but $6 comps is making sure that they're watching a lot of these angles so that can't happen again.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen that restarter that was able to get a nice pick on one of the members of Woomy United, and that is a quick stone flip as well. And another wipeout. How many wipeouts we're gonna get? The answer is yes, but now $6 comps is actually opting to play a much more aggressive than they were at their last lockout opportunity right here. Putting this Dynamo on 10, I don't think is the worst idea. Just it's like having a Flings on 10. They will throw everything your way for the sillies. Actually, oh, never mind, they're gone.
That was, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, wait, this is a really good spot for the Dynamo. And then I was like, oh, wait, no, they could just poke at them from far away. I guess maybe not. So
the fastest good night of my career.
Okay, so Unlimited Woomy United, they are the team that needs to get the lead. There's a minute left here, and you can see they're getting their penalty points counted down here. There comes that vac. They're trying to use that vac at all the specials that are coming out from $6 comps. $6 comps, though, relying a lot on that slider to help them get back in the zone there. That was the key factor. Even though Unlimited Woomy United had that vac, it seems like as soon as that slider came out into the zone, that was GG in that push. So now, once again, Uwu here is the team that needs to get back in the zone if they want to win this first game.
Absolutely. We are seeing just all those specials coming out from Unlimited Woomy United and able to cap the zone while they're at it. And, you know, I think it's really funny because we're just slowly seeing the penalty points like start to chip away as, you know, they're swapping the zone, but Unlimited Woomy United is looking to put themselves in a really good position, forcing $6 comps once again back on that back foot right here, and they're going to be trying to keep this, especially considering those penalty points are nearly out of the way right here. $6 comps has to find a miracle if they really want to try and take the zone back here before it swaps, and I think it's just going to be, I think they're going to have to fight for penalty again if they want that lead back in their favor right here, but with such a little bit of a scrappy entrance, it might also spill death for them.
It might. I thought they were going to be able to use that slider right before that penalty swapped, but Unlimited Woomy United was able to hold on just long enough. $6 comps had their specials starting to come out so they could recap the zone, but Unlimited Woomy United, it seemed like they just all of a sudden made that call in voice chat. Okay, everyone, hold on, just paint the zone. We can win this, and they did exactly that. That played out very well in their favor. They had that vac come out as well. That shut down a lot of what $6 Camps was trying to do. And in the end, Unlimited Woomy United winning that first game at a very, very close ending there.
Absolutely. It was just so fun to just see that combination of weapons. And I'm like, okay, I need to mention at the end when you were like Unlimited Woomy United put everything together, I'm just like, this is the Splatoon equivalent of an all-out attack. The specials are out. Everyone's locked in and it spells the end of the game. But this is also best of 5. So we're going to be seeing how well these teams are going to be adapting as the sets continue to move forward. And that's going to be the exciting bit. I'm so... Rissa, I love this set of weapons because it's just something we just haven't seen. I don't think I've seen just 4 rollers in a lobby like that. Ever.
I know, same. I was initially like, wait. I was like, am I saying this right? Yeah, like, hello? Especially too, like, okay, maybe you see like 1 or 2 carbon rollers, maybe 1 Flingza amongst the 8 weapons, but here we saw Flingza, Dynamo, and 2 carbon rollers. I was not expecting that, but very pleasantly surprised considering that's, like you said, so different from what we get to see in tournaments as commentators and as viewers.
Absolutely. I actually kind of like that Dynamo pick. I'm not going to lie. The Dynamo did really good numbers when it came to like holding the zone. I think that's why in the beginning of the game, they were holding the zone really hard in the beginning. And I was like, I was not expecting that. They did lose the game, but I just thought it was really interesting to see that difference with and without the Dynamo. Dynamo's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. It's a little slow, but it gets the job done. But whether or not they're going to be bringing it into the next game, I think we are going to be on Crab Leg, I want to say, if I remember correctly. What mode is it? Is a bigger question.
I do not remember. Thank you so much, streamer. Okay, yes, Crab Leg. Going back to Clam Blitz, which we previously saw in the last set that we were here commentating. Clam Blitz on Crab Leg. So I could absolutely see that Dynamo making a comeback here, but we're gonna have to see. I feel like a lot of times teams that play different weapons like this, all of a sudden you'll see like switch ups where you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
like,
who knows?
Yeah, if we see it, it's going to be just a massive double-edged sword because of those grades. So it really is. You're playing risk. And Boozler! That is Bamboo. Rises on Bamboo. We scrapped the quad roller for the sake of Bamboo. I'm not complaining. Seeing Bamboo, I'm excited. That is your little mid-line. I'm going to play silly with... If you have good mechanics, you're going to do just fine on this. But I'm excited.
Yeah, that's so interesting. They have the long-range weapons on $6 comp support, mid-range weapons supporting that carbon. I definitely see the vision. So as this game progresses here, we're gonna have to see how that vision progresses for them. Initially, though, Unlimited Woomy United taking mid, being the team that is gonna take mid, and making sure that they're playing together here as they start pushing up closer and closer to the other team's basket.
Absolutely, we are seeing those Dugos coming in, able to get out with a trade here. Well, we have 2 rollers off the field right now. They're just, we are just seeing 6 Clams just trying to sort of defend their base here. We are not seeing any Clams on the board, but just a slow move back to a neutral state of game here. And, it's just waiting for the next big clash. It's been around a minute. We haven't seen really, never mind, there's a Power Clam. I'm like, there's no Power Clams. Loud and correct buzzer, I guess.
I guess. Okay. Both teams here having that power clam, like you said. 14 clams, excuse me, at the ready for Unlimited Woomy United, taking down 2 members of $6 comps. They just need to get that blue paint on the board. They do have 2 specials. It seems like they're trying to make sure they hold those specials for their team to come back. And while they hold those specials too, they're trying to get the clams as well. But it seems like, it's a lot to juggle here as $6 comps is starting to come back into mid. With Unlimited Woomy United having 2 members that did go down there, they're having to figure out how they want to regroup and take back mid, as this mid control, it keeps switching back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, I feel like that's just kind of been the theme of today's matches. Just a lot of back and forth right here. I mean, it makes sense as the teams continue to get, never mind. That is going to be a wake up for Unlimited Woomy United. Just look at that. They're going to be moving. They're going to be trying to get these clams straight into the basket right here, wasting a little bit of time, but it doesn't matter because that barrier is broken. But $6 Clams is going to be quick to retaliate and basically wipe out Unlimited Woomy United. But that is, you never know how the game is going to go, and you never know if those 80 points is going to be all you need to win the game.
Right. Clam Blitz, it's either all or nothing, it feels like. Sometimes that one push will be it, or sometimes all of a sudden you next thing you know, you need to get a knockout in order to win here. And $6 comps, they got so close to getting up to the basket there, but they were easily shut down. Looks like there's a flank throw coming out from this carbon roller. They could, I really like that they were so close to getting that ball. They're just sneaking it in and throwing it in the basket, but were called out. I'm guessing Unlimited Woomy United was like, hey, wait, where's that last member of your team? Question, where are they? And they were able to all turn and see that.
Like, Carbon is like some of the highest priority of call out. It's like, if we do not know where this guy is, bro is probably already on us. The jump scare, Carbon. But yeah, once again, we're just in this neutral state. We are seeing okay, I think the back has just been a key player throughout this. Okay, we're going double back, whatever, I guess. Battle the backs, and we lost the one. Never mind. There's picks every time. Okay, is it really a battle if you lost the war? There's no war to be lost. The war is still happening. Rissa, save me.
Yeah, I feel like everything you said there is exactly what's going on in my head as I'm trying to assess what's going to happen. This is so back and forth. I mean, there's already a minute left of this match, and it's just been so back and forth and back and forth. One team or the other hasn't necessarily got the upper hand, even though one team has 20-point lead. I mean, this mid control just keeps going back and forth. We keep seeing specials from each side thrown at each other. Scribby's here trying to get their back ready. It looks like finally $6 Comps is able to get a push going. They finally got their specials ready at the right time. There's that whale. There is that vac as well, and they're able to utilize those at the perfect time and score and finally get the lead. It looks like they're sneaking in a few more clams there just to solidify their lead even more.
The game suddenly became real at a minute left. We are seeing pushes. $6 Comps is locked in here this second. Also, can I mention how much I love seeing both teams rotate to just other members in general, because I feel like it's just such an underrated thing, and I needed to mention it. Also, Unlimited Woomy United is like 3 down again.
They're 3 down. They're trying to come back from their spawn, but man, it seems like $6 Comps, they got that push in, and they're just not letting go of that space that they were holding in mid. They're trying to just keep holding on to it. Unlimited Woomy United, though, they have that power clam. They have additional clams with that as well. 18 clams at the ready. They do have those specials ready as well. There goes the Booyah Bomb from Axiom. There goes the Vac as well. They're able to score in a power clam, and if they're able to score in this last clam, that's going to be a lead for them. And just like that, last second here, again, able to score in that last power clam, had all those specials ready at the last possible second, and able to take the lead just as overtime starts.
What in overtime? You commentated cursed $6 Comps at the end, Rissa. You commentated cursed. Oh my god. You said they're not letting go. Loud and correct buzzer, as a matter of fact. Unlimited Woomy United said, we will defy the wills of the commentators real quick. Let me show you something. They give us an overtime win. Okay, man. What a beautiful, beautiful overtime comeback from Unlimited Woomy United. I can't help but give props. It was just the combination of the buoy up on the back, especially they're like, hold on, we gotta make sure. I was worried because the power clam was on the back, and I was like, this could be really dangerous really quickly. And it's just like, nope, we're good. We had all our members there. They like stayed alive for like a good, like those few seconds they stayed alive at the end was just what they needed there to really solidify that win. Beautiful, beautiful job.
Man, and if you're $6 comps, I mean, feels like at the end there, you can't get too comfortable like we just saw. And like you said, my commentator curse happened because, okay, it's like, oh, okay, you know, what is this? 10 seconds from this game ending, and then all of a sudden you're getting comfortable. All of a sudden, Unlimited Woomy United is just rushing your spawn, rushing your basket, has all these specials ready, and you could just, I feel like that also happened in the first game as well. So you really cannot get comfortable at the end here against this team.
Like, I feel like that is just the biggest example of player-made well, that's what I like to call player-made last-ditch effort, where they really just decide, okay, well, the risk management doesn't exist anymore. Lock in, go. And teams just kind of they just go. And usually that's where those overtime wins come in, and I love to see it. I feel like that's just a great example of that player-made LDE that I like to see when watching sets.
I totally agree too. No, it does. I see the vision you're saying here. Because, like, I feel like as a player, sometimes if you're playing at the end there, okay, you know that you have your special ready, and then you have to make that choice. Okay, do I wait to use my special here for just a few seconds while I wait for another special, or do I just start using my special now and hope someone else has a special ready? It's just that type of synergy is really, really rare to see in teams, and we saw it there with Unlimited Woomy United.
Absolutely. It was just everyone got on the same page. And whether or not we're going to be seeing that again here as this Rainmaker pops Teal, $6 card to be the first one to pop that. But just no deaths just yet here. 50 seconds starting off. And we're starting off a little bit on the slower end, I would say, compared to some of the other matches that we have seen. And not anymore, as we are going to be going 2-3 down on $6 comps. And Unlimited Woomy United running with that momentum that they got from last game. That overtime win is doing the numbers as his first checkpoint is out of the way in just 30 seconds.
Yeah, just 30 seconds. They have that. Woomy had that Zuka ready. There's that back ready once again. Woomy here leading the charge with that carbon roller, actually just creating as much path as they can for their Rainmaker carrier. Uzi grabbed that Rainmaker and was like, okay, let me just run and grab this and get as many points as I can. Speaking of that, nothing here grabs the Rainmaker again, does that same exact thing, and that has paid off very well for them. They are able to get their score all the way down to 17 really fast.
And this same momentum, I don't know what it is, Rissa, because Unlimited Woomy United felt the whimsy of the century and brought that all the way down to 17. I what they're having. I need whatever momentum like buff they got, hand it over. Share with the class after this set, obviously, but like share with the class, please. Thank you.
I know. I love that they don't my issue as a player, sometimes I'll hesitate, and that could be the thing that ruins it for the rest of the team. But they just do not hesitate. They know that they can count on each other as players, as a team, to, do this move and be aggressive, and their team is going to follow up with them. And that is exactly that thing I think that Unlimited Woomy United has here. $6 comps on the other side. They're going to have to figure out, how do you counter that? How do you counter this type of team synergy that's been going on from this team?
Absolutely. I think really they just got to take a second, gather themselves together, because it's like in situations like this, you also tend to kind of just panic, whether you realize it or not. But just this is a dire situation for $6 comp. Sometimes you just got to take a second and just be like, hold on, we can take a second, we can play a little bit slower if we need to, and gather ourselves before continuing, because it can get a lot more dangerous otherwise here. And we're seeing just that snowball of the Unlimited Woomy United as they just continue to paint the path to themselves, having this back ready. They're just all there trying to get the Rainmaker forward, but no extra points coming out of that push. But it is just so much pressure. That is what is coming out of this.
There's a lot of pressure. They grab that Rainmaker again. They're just not hesitating. If they see that Rainmaker open, they run and grab it. And the longer that they keep doing this, the harder. Okay, Uzi with that Flingza. Not only is that a support weapon, that is a weapon that can get kills while they're at it. Popping that Rainmaker, grabbing the Rainmaker, and I didn't know if they would dunk it there, but they did. They dunked it. I thought this team, I was like, maybe $6 Comp's gonna take down that 1 point, but nope. Uzi grabbed that Rainmaker, didn't hesitate after taking down 3 members of the other team, grabbed it, dunked it, and just like that, Unlimited Woomy United taking this set 3-0.
Rissa, I'm not okay. Uzi literally said, "I'm a healer, but how are you normal after a match like that? You were talking about no hesitating, and then it's just that is the principle of Rainmaker. Rainmaker is like the biggest like version of you cannot hesitate because you will not score. And we saw just Unlimited Woomy United going with the confidence of just everything. It was just amazing just to watch them go. It's like, go my Scarab, and they won. That was it.
They totally showed, like, okay, even though maybe you're the anchor player, maybe you're the support player, if the opportunity arises for you to be the aggressive player and maybe play objective also and support also, like you can do it all. Just as long as you make it happen for the team has your back. That synergy was there for them. That was really cool to see.
Opportunity seeking my beloved, but Unlimited Woomy United, I believe it is going to be moving on to finals. Yep, that's going to be a move on into finals for Unlimited Woomy United with a clean 3-0 set. What a set. That was a good set. Like, the score is one thing, but the actual contents of the set were just, it was a lot closer than what it seemed until we got to the last match. But but a beautiful set and just an amazing job from Unlimited Woomy United.
Absolutely, I agree. And initially too, it was so back and forth. You could see that $6 Comps was coming into it trying to figure out what they needed to do. They were starting to figure out how to play against this team that they previously had. But Unlimited Woomy United, once they started getting their momentum going, it was pretty difficult to stop. I would be, if I was against that, I'd be like, okay, I'm overwhelmed.
It's just like, yeah, it's a never-ending storm from these guys. But that is going to be concluding this set for us here as we have finals quickly approaching. I believe we're going to be taking a little bit of a break before we get right back into the action.
We are back from a short break for SAC Qualifier 3. If you're just tuning in, we are actually going to be headed into finals here on the stream. Again, my name is Rissa. I'm joined with the wonderful Fufu here. And we are... I feel like I'm still recovering from some like just awesome sets that we've been watching, and as we head into finals here, I feel like this is just going to continue. The hype is going to continue.
Versus something tells me this is gonna be like really, really whimsical. Considering last game that we had, this is gonna be whimsy. I almost want Seafoam to match like Unlimited Woomy United like whimsy, and I really want to see like another double off meta comp, but I know it's like a less than possible chance. I'm unfamiliar with Seafoam Reality's comps. So I'm not sure what to expect, but Unlimited Woomy United definitely had some of that whimsy in their weapon choices last time, and they made it work.
They did. I like your word whimsy there, because you know they just had that extra magic, like they really did from what we saw in that last set. And as we saw Seafoam was that team we watched that had Xyler, right? The Octobrush team?
Yes.
At the beginning of this? Okay. So, I feel like if... Yeah, I think...
I don't... Wait. Which team?
Oh, wait, maybe not.
Wait, no, that was
Clown... Clown Ensemble?
Was that StarZ? No, that was Clown Ensemble. It was Clown Ensemble.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, I'm with you too. I'm not familiar with what Seafoam is going to be playing here.
Oh. It looks like we actually got some information from above, actually, about the comps, methinks. Seafoam Reality looks like they have a freaking nozzle nose. They have a nozzle nose in the big year of 2025. Wow. Like this is how you know it's gonna. If someone confidently brings out a nozzle nose, I'm scared. Not really, actually, just a little bit, just an itty bitty bit scared, because I know they have the aim to pull it out, and we apparently have 9 to 10 crabs. Wait, that's not a nozzle. Is that a nozzle?
The L3.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I swear I played the game.
Are you sure? No, I'm just kidding.
What?
Yeah, I agree though. People who like confidently play L3, like for one, they not only have to make sure that they can aim really well, but also just the mobility of that weapon paired with being able to aim is so difficult to play, especially in Splatoon 3 versus Splatoon 2. So as we head into this first game here, let's take a look at the other weapons that they have as well. There's a Rapid, an NZAP, and a Slosher. So a pretty balanced comp, I think, coming out from Seafoam as we are taking a look at that.
Now, Rapid can be a really, really mean weapon if utilized correctly here, but we're going to be seeing one down go on each side as the fight for the zone begins here. Both teams just trying to find their footing here on this very ledge-heavy map, as Seafoam Reality is going to be the first ones to cap the zone here, just taking out Glucose while they're at it. 3 down to $6. No, that's not $6. That's Unlimited Woomy United going all down here in a wipeout in favor of Seafoam Reality.
Seafoam Reality now taking that zone and also not hesitating. There's that L3 that we were talking about, utilizing their crab right away. Great usage of that. They didn't even hesitate. They didn't even wait for another special. Even though there was that Ray paired with that, eventually they just didn't hesitate, and that completely slowed down any momentum that Unlimited Woomy United might be able to utilize. Unlimited Woomy United now were able to take down the Rapid from Seafoam, but they're still, struggling here to get into the zone to get in a position to paint it.
Absolutely. And here you're talking about that confidence, and I feel like confidence just makes so much of a player right here. You are like, if you are confident, you're going to be hitting your shots. You're going to be taking all these positions that you need. But just as we say that, we're going to blink, and Unlimited Woomy United is going to be flipping that zone in their favor, looking forward to taking a lot more space, able to take the Rapid out of the way, but unfortunately going one down themselves. But they also find themselves in a really good position right now.
Yeah, they're able to take the zone back and able to start trying to get in positions. You can see there on the left stack and the right stack to get ready for defense. As they were doing so, Seafoam Reality recognized that as well, and Seafoam was able to start painting more purple paint than yellow paint, and that gave them that opposition to be able to run forward and take the zone. There's a flank though, coming out from the blaster, Slosher in Unlimited Woomy United spawn, and that is actually acting as a very good distraction. Now 3 down from Unlimited Woomy United, and Seafoam Reality able to get a complete wipe and able to take the zone back just like that.
Just like that. It's just, they have around 60 points of penalty to get through here, but they've been, I mean, considering the hold that we saw in the beginning of the game, it doesn't seem far from impossible. Look at this! This is what I'm talking about, Rapid. Rapid can get really silly. I feel like those weapons that dash forward, such as like dualies and decap, are definitely its biggest weakness, but if you get everything else, it's just like, come here.
Yeah, especially too if you're against that and all of a sudden you're like, wait, this Rapid's really confidently rushing me. It's like, hold on, wait, what am I doing? How do I approach this? It can be scary, that confidence with the Rapid just rushing you forward. And still, man, a complete wipe onto Unlimited Woomy United. Oh my gosh, talk about synergy here. Seafoam Reality knew exactly how to play this map, knew how to, chain their specials really good here, and they were able to conquer that synergy that we've been seeing from Unlimited Woomy United, taking game 1 of this final set.
They were just confident through and through this entire game. And I'm actually excited to see how this is going to carry out through the rest. I don't know if they had momentum from before or something, but they went in with the force of a truck. They are just boom, off we go. They did not hesitate. They did not miss. Absolute cinema.
Absolute cinema. I agree. That was beautiful, especially considering that last set that we watched on stream and how well Unlimited Woomy United was playing. Like, we were talking them up and their synergy, which is still fantastic, but all of a sudden having another team here that's challenging that level of Unlimited Woomy United's play style is really cool to see, I think.
Absolutely. And I don't know, it's like, how do I explain just the difference between, okay, we have our big dogs of our last set to, when the new challenger approaches, like, oh, you're approaching me, oh, like, that's a JoJo reference. But it's just super interesting. I want to see how Unlimited Woomy United is going to be trying to adapt to this, because we have seen how these teams can quickly adapt, and I want to see if they're going to be able to make that adaptation quick enough to turn this next game around, or at least get it closer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious too how much these two teams have played against each other, whether in tournaments or in scrims. The lore of if these two teams are familiar with each other at all. Because, maybe I'm curious if Unlimited Woomy United, already knew how to come into this set versus this team, or this is one of their first times maybe playing them and just trying to figure out how to play them in the first place. So as we head into game 2 here, tower control on Inkblot Art Academy. This is one of those ones. It just can get so snowbally. We'll have to see how that ends up happening.
Oh, this ain't our snowball of the century. Actually, some super quick info. We actually did see Unlimited Woomy United actually did take them out during groups, so this is actually like a revenge set for Seafoam here. So that makes it all the more exciting. I love when teams have lore. Oh my god, when matches have lore. Excuse me. But both of the teams are going to be opened up nice and quick. We're going to be seeing quick openings here for the left side on Seafoam Reality. We actually saw 2 members sent here to the left, but unfortunately that Slosher is going to be going down along with the Rapid, only leaving the Nozzle and the Zap to fend for themselves. And while in Crab is not going to be enough, that leads to 3 down on Seafoam Reality. Unlimited Woomy United quickly striking back, trying to, oh, never mind, see ya.
That was difficult too. They started taking the tower. All of a sudden there was someone just lingering on that stack there, and the person lingering there that jumped back, they had that perfect angle to be able to take someone down and put a stop to the push that Unlimited Woomy United had going. But Unlimited Woomy United not hesitating here, getting back onto the tower, utilizing the missiles that they have here, now chained with the Zuka as well. That all has allowed them to get past that first checkpoint. And even though they do have members going down, they're doing a great job here as Axiom there on that Gluga as this is push up in their base, and they just did a really good job at not only getting through that first checkpoint, which will be very helpful for them in the future, but also just creating a lot of pressure onto the other team.
Yeah, I'm seeing like the biggest challenge here for Unlimited Woomy United is not overheating once you actually get the ball rolling and making sure we're not accidentally overstepping or separating from each other. I feel like that's like the biggest thing in like these high tension scenarios, such as especially in tournaments, because that tension gets high and just sometimes you overheat and sometimes you just want to hold W and go. And I feel like having that, being able to build that sense of control, especially on a snowballing map like this, is going to be really huge for whichever team can conquer that first.
Yeah, I agree. Previously I'm sure if they play really fast and they can just get the upper hand and, take down the other team that they're playing. But considering how Seafoam Reality is, Seafoam Reality always has their specials at the ready. They already are trying to think ahead of how Unlimited Woomy United is going to be playing fast, and that is making this a very good matchup. And as we're taking a look at this, Unlimited Woomy United able to push up, get past that second checkpoint, and now continue to put pressure onto Seafoam Reality's spawn here. With a Glooga just poking at you under the ledges here, it's like, okay, gotta be careful how I approach this. And right now, as Seafoam Reality is trying to get back in, they have to make sure they clear out all these members of Unlimited Woomy United. They just seem to keep trickling in and keep being distractions.
Yeah, they learned from that last push that they had. Well, oh wait, actually it's going to be the end of this push because that's going to be a wipeout. I blink at Seafoam Reality is able to take out basically all the members. Well, did actually take all the members out of Unlimited Woomy United, preparing for that next push, trying to get themselves set up. I love that rapid clearing the right side with those markers. It's like making sure. I know y'all just got wiped out, but you never know. But we are seeing a lot of back and forth splats here as these strikes come out to make more space for Seafoam Reality here, just trying to set themselves up. I'm waiting for these whales to go and cause havoc once the rest of the members are back. There they are.
Yeah, I saw that too. They were like, okay, I'm gonna get on the tower here. Hold on, wait for some teammates. Okay, now I'm using the whale. And even though that's something that Seafoam Reality has been doing so well, even though they don't have someone else with a special ready, as long as they have their teammates around them and are able to start pushing together, as long as one of them uses a special, it seems like, okay, eventually it'll start chaining, someone else will have a special. Okay, Axiom completely shutting down what Seafoam Reality was trying to set up there with those Gloogas. Okay, but yeah, Seafoam Reality, they just seem to make sure that they're able to chain their specials. That's something that they're doing really well.
No, absolutely, and it's exactly as you said. It's just once one is going, it's like, all right, let's start the hype train. Let's get it right here. And we are just seeing the potential of that not the potential, the impact of that rapid, as we saw. It's just like forcing people to move out of the way. Seafoam Reality now finding themselves in a position where they are finding a lot more space. We are seeing Clara have that crab up and ready, and that crab, it means so much more space for Seafoam Reality. Just waiting for that right opportunity, right second, and right now it seems to be it.
Okay, headed into the last 45 seconds here now with Clara on that crab. Was creating space in the bats there for their teammate, but then just got absolutely jumped by someone from the other team. It seems like, though, at least that space that they were able to create while they were alive helped them create a lot of space for their team. And right now, Seafoam Reality is so close to taking the lead. They just need to make sure someone is on the tower, make sure that they play this really well, make sure that they don't go down. And, Scovat there trying so hard to juggle the tower. It's just Clara left alive, and Clara not quite able to get in a position to get jump-ins for their team, has to jump back. And let's see if someone from Seafoam Reality can rush to the tower and possibly get on it and make something happen.
It's going to be really tight. This is where you got to be really careful because everything is... Oh, the GG Booyah is crazy. GG Booyah is crazy, but strategic, and it freaking worked because of Unlimited Woomy United winning the game by a 1-point difference, evening the score 1-1 for these two teams. No, because it was such an unfortunate end there for Seafoam, just because they had to chase the tower at the end there if they wanted it back, and even then, booyah, whoa, booyah bomb be upon ye.
Totally. They did a good job too at recognizing, okay, let's all rush this together. We can make something happen maybe, but just with those GG specials from the other side, there's nothing you can do. It's just GG's.
Tower is just one of those where you can't have that player made LDE because the strikes and booyah very well exist. I feel like tower control is just that mode where you have to do everything before the last 30 seconds of the match because someone strikes you out and you're cooked.
Totally. And they got so close there with that push that got them all the way to that 1-point difference. And just Scovat there left alive trying to juggle the tower. Was trying to do absolutely everything they could. I thought they might get it too, but Unlimited Woomy United able to just jump on the tower and get paint on it before that got
Yeah.
to the lead switching. Very, very close game.
I think that there was also mines on the tower, so that just didn't help their case either. So it was just it was a triple whammy. But I'm curious on what our next mode is going to be. Our map mode. I'm like it could be a tight one. It's Clam Blitz. Peter, the horse is here. Oh, this is actually a whole interesting set of lineups. Like the entire lineup right now is like we're flipping through the channels type like maps. Oh my goodness, I love Clambless Museum del Foncino, just because it's nice and open, and I am simply a Charger player.
So that checks out. I like this lineup too. It's like not. I feel like this isn't like typical lineup maps that I get to see for tournaments, and it's still like good competitive maps. And this next one too, like you were saying, Museum on Clam Blitz. I like this one too because it's you can't get. I mean, there is obviously lockout potential on this one, but I feel like it's a little bit more balanced. It's a little bit easier sometimes with all the different levels and coming out of spawn and the way you can utilize those to get back in to not get locked out as bad as some other maps, but definitely there still is the potential.
Yeah, but oh my goodness, it's just this freaking map. The lockout is mean. Also, if I'm not mistaken, it looks like we also have a raid for Splatoon 30. So if you're tuning in, welcome in. We are on finals, and the matches are getting good as the scores are even.
Yes, the score is tied up. We are headed into Game 3. Clam Blitz on Museum. Seafoam Reality versus Unlimited Woomy United for those who are just tuning in. And these matches have been so close, like Fufu said, and like the score says here. So as we take a look at the initial beginning of this game here, it's going to be, who can get that mid paint upper hand, who can get their specials ready, who can be in that position to get an advantage first.
Yeah, I'm right here. This is the map where you want to be quick and you want to, just take as much space as you can. And we are just seeing that for Seafoam Reality, quickly moving themselves, like getting two clams into the basket, wasting absolutely no time. It is just a Slosher and the Nozzle alive, getting maybe one little extra clam in there, but it's not going to be enough, as that's going to be the end of the push. Unlimited Woomy United having to quickly retaliate in order to preserve as many points as they can after that initial attack.
Now Unlimited Woomy United, they are doing a good job at trying to get back into mid, but I feel like mid right now is very blue. Even though Seafoam Reality is the team that's coming back, getting ready to play defense, it took a little bit there for Unlimited Woomy United to get back in just because the map was so blue. But now Unlimited Woomy United utilizes that Booyah Bomb, utilizes that vac that they do so well, chaining together and not quite able to play off of those like they would. Seafoam Reality was set up in a very, very good defense there and made sure that they put a stop to that, made sure they stayed away from those specials. And now not only play defense, but they are pushed up and trying to get their score in here once again to continue their points.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, they're going to be going 2 down in this, and so it's just having to wait for the rest of the members to jump back into the field to continue the pressure. And we're going to be seeing 2 down Unlimited Woomy United here as the members of Seafoam Reality are slowly making their way back in. We are seeing that back also coming out. We're seeing a lot of things. We're basically just seeing Unlimited Woomy United use up their resources here to just try to defend and make sure that Seafoam Reality doesn't have an inch to take a mile with.
Right. They're both playing, the set so well, but it's just like one team or the other seems like it almost seems like since these teams can practice these maps, they're having their game plans. They know how they want to play on these maps. They know what positions they want to take fast and, start getting a push in. And that, as long as you have that game plan, that can really help enable your team to play fast and aggressively. As we're seeing Seafoam Reality be that team here for this game. So you can see they were starting to push up, but Unlimited Woomy United was able to utilize that vac, and Woomy here pushing through that vac, able to take down 2 members. When you're able to play through your teammate's special like that, that can come out in a really good position for you. Now Woomy not only pushing forward, creating a jump in as well, but also taking down another member of the other team with that Zuka. Great chain of events coming out from Woomy.
Woomy, our go right here. And then once again, that lead swap is going to be absolutely huge here for Woomy Limited Woomy United here. But that is also going to be the basket closing. If they can continue to keep the space in their favor, they can maybe go in here for another push. We are seeing 1 power clam already ready for them on top of that right here. Seafoam Reality just having to hold on and really just find a way to push out of this defense soon.
Yeah, you can see they're making sure that mid is cleared as much as they possibly can. Wow, and they were doing a really good job at staying back and trying to play their defense, but Unlimited Woomy United took the synergy, the momentum that they had there, pushed forward and opened up the basket once again. Now, even though they didn't necessarily get a ton of points on the board, just the longer that they keep this pressure onto Seafoam Reality, the harder it is for Seafoam Reality to even think about pushing for themselves. So with only a minute left of this match, the scores are pretty close here. I feel like just anything can happen with the way these two teams have been playing.
Absolutely here. And, you know, we've seen those overtime pushes that can happen here, and I don't think this game could be any short of an exception. So, we actually are seeing 2 power clams up and ready here on the side of Seafoam Reality, along with some strikes here to make a little bit more space for the rest of them here, as we are seeing that. Hello? Hello? Question mark? Average Splatoon experience? Question mark 2?
They had it, you know, they were doing so good, and all of a sudden that came out from the other side, and it was like, wait, I need to paint my feet. What is happening? The momentum was there, the vision was there, but then it wasn't.
The unfortunate lag moment on that side. That cooler hovered for a second. That was kind of funny. But no, yeah, just a very unfortunate event of the clam being a little bit delayed. I'm like, it's just unfortunate Splatoon lag moment right here. But Unlimited Woomy United already with a lot of the field set in orange and a clam in their possession. I don't think there's a single power clam in the favor of Seafoam Reality right now. They are scrambling to just try and find the clams and just unable to do so. And that is going to be game here. Unlimited Woomy United taking game 3 with a 2-1 score.
It seemed like they're right at the end. You know, Seafoam Reality definitely could have made something happen, but like you said, since there was no clams for them to pick up to even make a power clam to give them that overtime, I was looking at the entire map, and it seemed like Unlimited Woomy United, they were just trying to grab as many clams as they could, and they had a couple power clams, and the more clams that they had, the more difficult it was for Seafoam Reality to even find clams for themselves.
Yeah, just like, you know, gotta hoard everything so they can't have any of it. It reminds me of the clip of like a team that like got all the possible clams spawned and just sat in the base. That's what it reminds me of. Just the clam hoarding. It's like, it's possible, but yeah, that little bit of clam hoarding at the end from Unlimited Woomy United definitely helped save that, just really lock in the game after that. But an incredible job. It was tight. Those scores got tight. They really did.
They really did. I could have seen that with the multiple pushes that were trying to happen from Seafoam Reality. There were moments there where I was like, okay, wait, they're gonna get a big push going here, and then just little things happened with the defense coming out from Unlimited Woomy United that, you know, put a stop to the momentum that was going there. But man, that seems so back and forth, and that rings true for, you know, these two teams getting into finals, the score being so close. And as we are going to be headed into, since this is finals, it's a best of 5, so we're going to be headed into game 4 here, and I actually believe it was Rainmaker on Humpback Pump Track. Yeah, so once again, I feel like another chaotic map that we get to see.
This is the map that I like to call a playground. This is a playground map where it's very different from our hallway maps, very wide, and for some reason mid just doesn't exist. We're playing the side, as a matter of fact. This is also the map because it's Rainmaker. You know, I say this all the time. This is the map where you are never safe unless that fish is in the pedestal, because it doesn't matter if you have a score of 3. They're going to push it to 1.
Yeah, totally. And I feel like we've seen that already happen today, where it's like, okay, you just got to make sure you're watching it, because yeah, this one too, like you said, it can go down so fast. And especially with the way these two teams have been playing, just so fast, so much synergy on each side. And I feel like we're going to see a lot of the Vax coming out again. I feel like those are going to be a big factor in this as well. But I can't wait. Just this has been so close. It's so close.
Absolutely. And I feel like tensions could just continue to rise, especially because Unlimited Woomy United is at match point currently. So Seafoam Reality, this is the match where you really want to just go in there, try and take the win to even the score out, especially because you want to get as many points as you can. You want to maximize your point outcome out of these qualifiers. So it can really go either way. This is like, I really just don't have any bets on which team would be at an advantage here, because it gets so chaotic and they like to be speedy, and it's going to get good.
It is gonna get good. I agree. Yeah, great point to bring up too. That since this is finals, you're gonna be wanting to win this in order to get points to qualify for finals of SAC. If you're Seafoam Reality right now, you know that you need to win this game in order to take it to game 5 in order to possibly win the set. But Unlimited Woomy United, you know, if they win this, they're gonna be winning SAC Qualifier 3 today. And from what we've seen from them today, we've seen them multiple times. It's all of a sudden overtime hits, and then all of a sudden they just turn their on switch on. Even though they're losing, all of a sudden they'll just turn something on and completely flip the score in overtime. So if you're Seafoam Reality, you gotta be on your toes. You gotta be on your game. You cannot afford to look away if you're against this team.
Lock in. You gotta lock in. You gotta lock in, because if you don't lock in, that means the end of the run right there. And oh my goodness, I don't know. It's just we could be seeing those. It just could go. This map mode just really just spells out just so many different possibilities. You can have a 2-minute knockout. You can have an overtime knockout. You can have gray, where this thing is never touching a single. Maybe it's never going to pass the checkpoint. Maybe it's just barely gonna like 2 points past the checkpoint. You got the checkpoint's great. Yeah, that elbow's a choke, whatever. This is a one choke out of the entire freaking map. Great.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, are there going to be flanks happening? I feel like a lot of time the flanks on this map can be really, really detrimental if you're not prepared, especially that if you're coming out of your spawn and then all of a sudden there's someone flanking from that left side, it can... Well, your right side, their left side, it can get really, really chaotic. And with the way these two teams have been playing, I could see anything happen. And without further ado, we get to finally take a look and see what's gonna happen. Headed into Game 4 for SAC Qualifier 3 Finals. Let's take a look at these comps.
Woo, and what a quick pop there from Seafoam Reality, but unfortunately they're going to be going 2 down here within these first 10 seconds, and the last one forced to jump out as Unlimited Woomy United absolutely just doesn't hesitate, as we've seen in the past, and just takes his Ravenmaker straight to the checkpoint for a 20-second checkpoint right there. They are going to be suffering a 2-down situation here as the missiles finally land on the floor. 3-down situation here, leaving Woomy as the last player to fend for themselves, but that checkpoint is in their favor, giving themselves a really nice advantage here, as just never mind, Woomy is back for more, and bro is bloodthirsty. And what I'm seeing, look at just the split, like just splitting their eyes here on the side and taking a pick while they're at it. You know what? Go be silly, be whimsical.
Be whimsical. Woomy was absolutely there on the carbon, being absolutely whimsical. It was working out very well for them, and then they were just as long as they were pushing forward into the other team, that made it that much more difficult for the other team to even think about moving, and that allows time for their teammates to come, push up, get mid, and like we're seeing here, in that time while Woomy was acting as a distraction, their teammates were able to paint mid, get their specials on ready, and try and just create that space to hold mid that much longer. You can see they're still holding it too, getting jump-ins as well, and nothing here on this Jet Squelcher, utilizing their range to keep themselves safe, keep their jump-ins safe as their teammates now jump back into mid once again and have this space and get ready to push.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are also seeing that back just about ready. We are also seeing that grab from Clara in the back, taking out the Rainmaker while they were at it. Uzi just trying to do everything to take Clara off the field, but getting picked off themselves. Clara is just being a menace in the back lines right here against Unlimited Woomy United, giving themselves a 2-person up advantage here, and that Rainmaker in their favor, and a possible checkpoint as well. If they can get this pay on the floor, and if they can get Woomy out of there too, that is the second big criteria there.
I know, I saw that too. From Seafoam Reality's point of view, they're trying to go dunk the Rainmaker, and then all of a sudden there's a carbon roller just hiding behind where you're trying to go. I'd be like, I'm a little bit scared. So you can see they tried to wait for their teammates to rush forward and get that pick, but they weren't quite able to capitalize on that in order to get the lead. So now once again, Unlimited Woomy United, not even hesitating, not letting the Rainmaker reset or anything. They are grabbing that Rainmaker right away, pushing it into mid, and even trying to get a push off of that as well.
I'm sorry, there was like a jump in within a jump in within a jump out within a jump in and jump out. I don't know if you saw the rotation of just, okay, I'm sorry, I had to point that out. But Clara with the grab once again trying to make space. We are seeing all 3 members of Unlimited Woomy United sitting there at that choke point. Cooler is out for the side of Seafoam Reality, giving themselves a lot more of a safety net here to really try and defend themselves here. Uzi going out for a trade, but this Rainmaker continues to move for Unlimited Woomy United. The push continue to take down to 24.
Oh my gosh. Axiom was like, okay, there's a crab right here, but I'm just gonna go the left to you. Hi, don't mind me. Gets the points all the way down to 24. So now if you are Seafoam Reality, you gotta lock in, as Fufu says. Lock in,
Yes.
get that Rainmaker, try and get it away from your spawn. Skovat here, the only one left alive as they're holding the Rainmaker, and at least they were able to grab it and drop it into mid. So even though their teammates were down, they weren't able to get in position to get more points or get a push going. They at least got the Rainmaker down into mid, and that gives them time to take a breath, figure out how to get into mid, get their specials ready, figure out how they want to get a push going.
Absolutely here, and slowly the turf is turning orange as Seafoam Reality once again is trying to get their footing and just trying to get themselves in. We are seeing that iconic Clara Clap come in and try to make stage, but okay, Woomy has been one MVP this entire match. This is their playground. This is actually their map, their home base, because they've been going around and just being absolutely sneaky at every corner they've been, and Unlimited Woomy United once again with a wipeout and looking to take more points than before.
Yeah, they are just doing a great job here. They grab the Rainmaker, they're pushing it through this right side. Uzi's already up in the other team's spawn under these ledges, acting a nuisance with that flings a roller. Woomy actually sharking here on the left side. You can see the point sensors were trying to call them out. It seems like Clara knew, and their teammates knew that they were there, but Woomy just dodged those point sensors, able to go around that flank side, act as a quick distraction there. Now in a position already to regroup with their teammate. Now, as we take a breath here, there's only 20 seconds remaining of this match. If Unlimited Woomy United wins this could be the set point for them. But as we head into the last 10 seconds here, Seafoam Reality, they have to lock in if they want to go to Game 5 and possibly win this set.
Oh, and there's a Bria Bomb over here that might have just been popped a little bit too early here as the Rainmakers grabs the Seafoam Reality, quickly threatening a possible lead as two members go down on the side of the...
Oh my...
Oh my goodness! The Limited Woomy United taking the entire set 3-1 with a clutch from the Flingza, smacking the rain dead smack in the center before the lead swap.
Woo, I am on the edge of my seat. Are you kidding me? That got so close there at the end. Wow, Seafoam Reality. I thought they had it there. They got it off by 4 points. They were able to sneak through those specials, able to sneak through the players that were there, but just, at the last possible second called out. That got so close.
That was like right there. Had it been a second longer, it would have been troubled waters for Unlimited Woomy United, but just an absolute clutch up. Oh my goodness. That wasn't literally, that was just, what a clutch.
Super clutch. And it seemed like, consistently throughout that entire match, Unlimited Woomy United was just consistently having that upper hand over and over and over and over. And Seafoam Reality, it took them just a little bit too long to figure out how they wanted to push into the momentum that Unlimited Woomy United had. So it was so close. But since this is just SAC qualifiers number 3, there's still time for them to worry about getting more points, as there's a few more qualifying tournaments to get into finals. So not to fret for Seafoam Reality. They still have time to get into finals, and I believe with the second place as well, this gives them some points as well to get into finals.
Absolutely here. It's not quite over, and I believe our next qualifier is going to be on May 24th. So again, there continues to be opportunities for these teams to make up points. If you can't make one qualifier, you can always make another. And if you don't get first, it's okay. You can still get more points. You can get first next time. Run it back.
Run it back. I know, too. These teams, since this is a qualifying series, this gives them time to know how to go back, look at the VODs, figure out how they want to play against not only Unlimited Woomy United, but probably a couple of other of the teams in this tournament as well. Because SAC, that's the beauty of it. It's like consistently playing against the same group of teams. And when I was playing in SAC, it was just like, oh, okay, this team's on top today. But then in a couple of weeks, the next qualifier, a different team's on top. And then it just keeps swapping around as teams learn to adapt to each other. So that's one of the beautiful things about SAC, I think.
I absolutely agree. It's, again, the adaptions are just some of my favorite parts. I can't help but just absolutely agree. Just an amazing set of just amazing set of sets that we've had today, just between the close ones, between the unseriousness, and between just everything. Just amazing games today.
Okay, so I think that is going to be it from us here on IPL. For those watching, those interested, the SAC qualifier number 4 is going to be on May 24th. So that's in about 2 weeks, I believe. So very, very soon, we're going to be back in the action watching these teams play against each other. I do not really have any closing thoughts, though. I'm still on the edge of my seat, just, processing what we just saw, those crazy games. Do you have any closing thoughts, Fufu, before we log out here?
No closing thoughts except for the fact that it was incredibly entertaining and the teams played amazingly today. But what I do have to say is, where can the lovely people find you today, Rissa?
Oh, they can find me. Where's my thing? They can find me here at Rissa High. They can find me here at Rissa High on X, aka Twitter, and Blue Sky. And they can find you, Fufu. Wait, is it this way?
Guys, this way. Yeah. You guys can find me at @SplatFufu on Blue Sky or Twitter, depending which one. I am more active on Blue Sky. Go follow my Blue Sky or Twitch. I shall be. I say this every week. I will be streaming soon. Totally will. For Backline Shenanigans, I just posted our. Go look at that and just about everything, and commentary, of course. But that will wrap up SAC with Rissa and I today. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good one.